ho. Yo ho ho. Welcome everyone. Welcome. Hang on a second, just spreading the word around a little bit here. Excuse me. Started a little bit prematurely. Had to put out some signals. I'm going live, and I now am live, and now I'm making noise too. Sorry about that. All right, welcome everyone. Welcome to. Now let's see here. Let me get that out of the way, then I'll start. Yeah, let's get that done first. Well, shall we? There we go. Don't need to do that. And now, so sorry about the clumsy opening. Well, it's kind of new. Sort of like kind of not new for me, I should say. Welcome, friends. Welcome, everyone, to Clobberin Times issue number 128. 828 overall well, this is last week was my 12th anniversary week. You think I would get that straight, right? So from Blog Talk Radio now to 828 overall, but 128 for YouTube. I don't know, just getting a crazy start here, huh? But I hope everyone's week is starting well. It is great to see you all. Before we get started, a few show notes and a few here's and there's. I cannot thank you all enough for the those of you who were here Saturday night with myself and my wonderful, magnificent first officer, the greatest first officer in the fleet, of course, the extraordinary Raquel Briggs. I love you, Raquel. I hope you're having a great start to your week as well, wherever you are. And it was just everyone who was here. I mean, let me tell you, I just my broken record. I say it every week. It's really incredible. It's such a fun, fantastic time, reviewing all of Star Trek and hang out with so many fantastic people. And so, yeah, I want to thank you all. That was just an extraordinary time. And, of course, we'll be right back here next Saturday night doing it again. Of course, this Wednesday night, it'll be just an open geekness for here on the Clobberin Time gang. So we'll see what happens there. Just kind of an anything goes open geekner like I like to do. And then Thursday, unless something changes in my schedule, something comes up that I may or may not, I will be here with the Global Geek Gang shall assemble this Thursday, 1 p.m. Central, of course. So, and again, like I said, and of course, again, Saturday night. But by the way, tomorrow night I will be on, hopefully, I guess we're still having it as usual, Loki, the great Loki's roundtable. And again, always thank you, Loki, for the that amazing intro, the Monday, especially my specialized Monday night intro that you made for me, my brother, if you're out there. Great thanks to the Stone Loki, buddy Stone Loki. I sometimes forget that. So we got all that out of the way. Again, thank you all. Welcome all to Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk here on Clobberin Times, your friendly YouTube channel that loves geekness. And tonight I'm gonna geek the hell out. Well, that's what we always do. So it's not like a surprise, but I got such a great bunch of friends that we've made over here since I've moved to YouTube about a year ago, a little over something like that, about a year ago. I've been doing this 12 years, but it feels like it just started out. And if it ever does feel like you've been doing it too long, then you've been doing it too long. But this, I just love having fun, talking geek stuff with all my friends. So, and I've made so many wonderful new friends over here. And so I'm going to start saying some hellos to you all in the chat before I get to move on with tonight's topic. Again, every night our Monday nights are about comics. And I've named it after our great, dear, departed, wonderful friend, Mark C. So it's Monday Night Mark C. Comics Talk now and forever. And I know this is a topic that he would have really enjoyed. He loved this cartoon as I did. We've talked cartoons before. And so this one, they're all Monday night Clobberin Times are dedicated to the great Mark C. So I just double dedicate this one to Mark because he would have really loved this. So I want to thank you all. The great, beautiful, magnificent Purple Valkyrie. And by the way, in my description below, there are links to many of my great YouTube friends' channels. Hers is one of them, Rise of the Valkyries. And please go see them. Go see their channel and go subscribe and support them. Of course, also with me, the great Latino Slant. Paulie, what's up, buddy? My great friend Paulie from Latino Slant. He has an extraordinarily bursting, blowing up channel. Just amazing. Please go to him and check his channel out as well. He is a great friend. I think the first buddy I made when I moved over to YouTube last year. So let's see. Else also out there in that chat, the great Phantom Outsider. Hey, babe. It is good to see you, my friend. This is a man that knows his comics. And I see your prediction for my number one. I'm not going to say whether you got it right or not because it's a surprise. I'm going to count down from 25. It's a surprise, so you will have to wait, sir. And I hope you won't be – well, I'm not going to say anything. I hope – well, we'll see. I'll tell him. I'll talk about the list in a second here. Liger fan, welcome. Great to see you. Great to see you, sir. Appreciate you. Again, our new buddy, JT Kirk. I've always been enjoying you and your participation, my friend, on Saturday Night Star Trek, which I'm having a great time with, as I said, and I appreciate you there. The great master of Frenches, Chris Persia. What's up, buddy? My new friend, Snortapoopus Q Bird. I did get your email, sir. Thank you so much for that. It is a pleasure to have you here, so I really appreciate you, Snortapoopus. My great friend, the Pat S. Almost a neighbor. Lives very close. Yo, brother. It is always great to see you here, buddy. The wonderful Apollomes Minion and the puppy, I'm sure, is there. Apollomes, good to see you. Good to see you. My great friend and longtime shotgun rider over in all the old BTR days, the great Carrie Fisher, or as I affectionately know him as Flash. What's up, Flash? Good to see you, brother. I appreciate that, JT Kirk. J-Man. Hey, J-Man. J-Man, I tell you what, it is great to see you, sir. I really enjoy the streams you've been doing because it seems like me, you like to just kind of geek out and have fun with your friends talking comics and other things. And J-Man has a great channel. I should have got a link up there. I apologize. I don't have a link, but if anyone can grab it and put it in there, it's any wrench who knows. J-Man has a cool channel. He does great streams, and he is a good dude, and I appreciate you being here, J-Man. You're one of us, brother. It's good to see you, bud. Let's see here. The great Mark D with a C. Great friend of the show. Great member of not only my wonderful Global Geek gang, but also of the Pop Culture Archivist out there and everything, too. So, hey, buddy. And he has a great channel, too. I have a link to his. Pretty sure I got that link in there on my down below there. Cardinal Sin, what's up? Good friend Cardinal Sin. I really appreciate you welcoming me and having me as a guest on your fine show yesterday, sir. It is always an honor to be there. Sorry I was late. But everyone, please also check out Cardinal Sin's channel, because he has a channel, upcoming channel, and he does streams. He does a few streams throughout the week, and he does a big one on Sundays. So please check that out. Let's see here. Indeed, J-Man, I really like what you do, bud. Let's see here. The great Ace Cast Iron. Great old friend, buddy. Good to see you, man. Good to see you. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Chris Persia, thank you for that, bud. There's the link right there for J-Man's channel. Please check that out and give him a sub if you would. If you're a comics fan and like other geek stuff, he and his buddies, I've watched their streams and I've been in their chat over there, and they're just they're like us. They're us, so they just love to have fun and talk geek stuff. So it's a great channel there. Let's see here. The great Eric K. What's up, buddy? Yes, the great Latino Saint. Yes, sir, I did. Gary, a big shout out to the great Gary at Nerdrotic. He and Az did a bagging, the real BB&C the other day, and they were talking about the Shang-Chi trailer. And he threw me a mention out there, and I'm humbled, and I'm not worthy, but I love Gary. He's a great dude. Love his channel. Nerdrotic's the best. And I love Az. Those guys are fantastic. And they shouted out me and myself and our dear departed fantastic buddy, the great Mark C. And I sure appreciate them for that. They're just the best. Those guys are something again there. So the great Mark C. This is, I always should put that up there because Mark C. is always with us, and he would be with us in spirit tonight. So, yes, indeed. So, all hail the great Mark C. Now, I think I will get started, folks. I guess you're hearing me okay. I hope you're all hearing me fine. I always even forget to ask for a sound check, but I hope you guys are hearing me okay. It's always tough to come up with a new topic for the comics talk, the Mark C. Comics Talk on Friday. On Monday nights. And when I get through with this one, I'm going to have that feeling of, oh man, I was really looking forward to that. Now I've already done it. Damn it, because that's the way it always is with these shows. I get it done, and I'm like, oh man, I would like to do that one. I mean, I was looking forward to that one. Now I've done it. So, thanks, Flash. Appreciate it, bro. So this is one I've really been looking forward to. And of course, there will be many other. Every Monday night will be comics related. This is comics related in the sense that it's a cartoon. I love animated, connections to superheroes, of course. Now, there's no question about it that Batman the Animated Series is the definitive, in my opinion, iteration of Batman. Brightest Day. Thank you for being here, sir. It's great to see you. New good buddy of the show. Brightest Day. Good. I'm glad you're here, man. Batman Animated Series perfectly encapsulates everything. I mean, it is absolutely, in my opinion, and this is including comics, and I'm a comics guy first, as you all know. I think it's the best out there interpretation and iteration of Batman and his adventures ever made, probably are certainly up there, because it's perfect. It catches the spirit of the Dark Knight detective Batman that we all know and love, and the way we like to see him. And it is more faithful to the true vision, and yet it doesn't go Frank Miller nuts, because Frank Miller, look, and this is a long discussion for another show that I'm going to do about the damage Frank Miller, in my opinion, did to Batman. And though I like a lot of Miller's stuff, but he did make him a little too dark and over the top, and that's why we get a lot of Psycho Batman stuff. Whereas before he was the Dark Knight, but he was not nuts. Miller didn't see eye to eye with that. But anyway, neither here nor there. The animated series pulls, because of, I guess, some of the constraints obviously put upon them by, it was an afternoon show. And there were constraints put on Bruce Timm and Paul Dini and stuff. But whatever those were, it was such a great show. You could, and I also love the fact that the short story format is great for Batman. And I like what J-Man's saying here. TOS in Batman the Animated Series is the best in terms of adapting Batman. But when I'm bored, I throw in a Raven the Bull. I just love this cartoon so much. Yeah, it puts a smile on it. It's my happy place. It's one of a few cartoons there, J-Man, that makes me happy, makes me smile every time. And just to give everyone a little bit of background before I go, I'll do my countdown of my top 25 episodes in a second. And after that, talk about a little different other parts. In 2008, when the Christopher Nolan film The Dark Knight was looming on the horizon, back when I guess there was still some sanity at Warner, I suppose, they, Warner had kind of someone, I don't know who, I don't know, all the details. Someone had said, well, look, we've got this film coming out. This is chiefly an adult. It is kind of aimed at adults and older viewers, being, the Nolan. It's okay. Look, the Batman live action, the Nolan stuff, sometimes I jokingly refer to that as Batman for dummies. I mean, it's okay. It's not pure Batman like the animated series or something like that. But there was the necessity to not, disenfranchise extremely young people who, children who, let's all be honest, superheroes were created for children and young viewers and young people. And small children should be able to enjoy things with Superman and Batman and Spider-Man and things like that. So they got together with the Cartoon Network to have this cartoon released in conjunction with, with the Dark Knight film. And yes, they were pretty blatant about it. They said, we need something that can sell toys. I've seen interviews, and again, obviously, and by the way, when I announced this last week, I was fanboying out because the great James Tucker, who produced this show, this wonderful show, along with Michael Jelinek, I've seen him in interviews say that yes, they toy companies wanted specific, and they did even some episodes that were made to create toys. I mean, that's what a lot of cartoons are for. This was to sell toys, and so there was definitely a marketing again when these companies, instead of just hiring people that wanted to tell agendas and things like that and ruin things, they actually had an interest in making money. Imagine that. Self-preservation thing. They actually wanted, and so a lot of this cartoon was definitely about making toys. The Jester of Sin, welcome, sir. Which I don't have a problem with, and neither did they. So they were very smart. They hired Mr. Tucker, James Tucker, and Michael Jelinek, and James Tucker really knows his DC Comics lore. From what I've gathered, he's around my age, and he really knows his stuff. And they were able to make this show that it was intended for kids. They were able to make this show, and this is what I always say about this show. This show, it's not Batman the Animated Series. It's not the Nolan Dark Knight. It's certainly not the Psycho Snyder garbage iteration of Psycho Batman, or Frank Miller's garbagey I'm the GD Batman from All-Star Batman. It's none of that. It is closer to they did make a pretty good bit. They did make a lot of toys there, Ace, though. But yeah, you said they could have made more, but there were some cool ones. There's a great Batmobile one that transforms and all that stuff, which I would like to have gotten. Changes from Batmobile into the jet. A buddy of mine has that, but my retro blasting buddy has that one. But Michael. But anyway, so this cartoon, it's not the Psycho stuff. It is far more based upon some of the latter, the 50s golden age, sort of the Dick Sprang version of Batman. And of course, there's a lot of Adam West involved in more ways than one. But there is a camp element, but it's also, as the title will tell you, is based upon, there was DC Comics had a title called The Brave and the Bold that featured many other different types of things before eventually Batman took over the title. And it became a Batman team-up book for a long time until issue number 200, when they canceled it to bring about Batman and the Outsiders. I was not happy with that, by the way. When DC ended the Brave and the Bold comic, I was not happy about that. I was never a big Batman and the Outsiders guy. I mean, I love Jim Aparo, but I never was big on that group. Batman leaves the Justice League to start his own group, that kind of stuff that was going on at the time for DC. Personally, that's just me. Maybe you all felt differently. A lot of people did like, Batman and the Outsiders, which is fine. But they canceled the Brave and the Bold comic book at 200, and they had that special. Remember that special square moundish issue 200, the last issue of the Batman Brave and the Bold. Brave and the Bold wasn't called Batman Brave and the Bold, the comic. The cartoon's Batman Brave and the Bold. But anyway, it's based a lot on that. And I've often said that this show is basically it's aimed at 8-year-olds and 40-year-old 8-year-olds, or in my case, well over 50 plus 8-year-olds. So basically, it's aimed at, it's got this extraordinary cleverness and amazing inventiveness about it that is just far above anything. Well, to boil it down, it does not talk down to kids. Kids can love it and watch this, and adults, especially kids, even if an adult who's never read comics can watch this with their kids and spot the cleverness and the humor in a lot of the stuff, and even some of the stuff that will go over the kids' heads. Sort of like we used to say that about the old Rocky and Bullwinkle cartoon and many other cartoons that don't talk down to you. And when they you can tell when a cartoon, even one that is made for children, is not talking down to its audience. And this one does not. Whereas a lot of Even superhero cartoons have been known to do that. I can name Sue, but I won't really go into that. This one doesn't. And especially if you are someone in your 40s or 50s that read Silver Age and Bronze Age comic books, you can watch this and catch all these. The references, it would take me forever just to do a show on the references and the very subtle references in the series. And that's what I love about it. You can sit down and watch it with your kids, and yet there are going to be things that'll go over their head. And if you read comics as a kid, you're going to go, oh my God, I can't believe they're referencing that extraordinarily obscure villain or this character or that character. And that's part of the incredible fun of this show. And yes, it's done as you can see in this cartoony style, and it's on purpose, which I think is fantastic. I love the style. It's done in this cartoony style, and sometimes there's definitely a Camp Silver Age type element to it, an Adam West element to it like that, and I could not be happier about it. This is not Batman the Animated Series, and it didn't need to be. And that is exactly right, Phantom Outsider. It has layers. It is layered. And a lot of great voice work. Dietrich Bader is terrific. Box Knight 7, welcome. Good to see you. Dietrich Bader is terrific. That's a great point. The great Ace Caster. The first and maybe only modern show that seems like our group of friends have made it. That is actually a good point. People who catch all the references. Part of the fun for me is the references, but you don't have to go. You could just kind of enjoy it. Again, someone who just wants to see dark, brooding Batman, this might not be the show for you, which is perfectly fine. Even though there was kind of a fairly dark episode, especially for this show. And look, this show had its dark spots. There was a lot of goofball fun, and the show is all about fun. But there were a couple of serious moments on this show, which of course that's a lot like even in the oldest of comics, even throughout the Silver Age or the Bronze Age. Of course, Silver Age DC was not all that serious. Bronze Age a little bit different, but there are serious moments in the show, some brutal, some sad, touching moments as well. And so what I will do is I'm going to do my countdown of my top 25 episodes. Then I'll talk a little bit about some. This show always opened up with a little short teaser, a pre-credits teaser with a little mini story. And I'm going to talk about some of those as well, and hopefully cover some of the obscure references on the way. And I'm here to tell you, 25 was brutal. My good buddy Flash and I, we used to talk when we've done a lot of list shows. We almost ran out of list shows to do. In fact, on my old show, on BTR. We've only done one here, I guess. I always have fun with these. And a lot of times when I make my top 25 of something, the order is difficult, and singling out 25 is impossible. So when I get done with my 25, there's some that I love just as much that it killed me to leave off the list. So I'm going to do a little, like a 10 or so, a mention of 10 episodes that are right there with those that are like the quote unquote honorable mentions. So I'm going to go count down from 25 and talk a little bit about each of these wonderful episodes of this show that you can, there were 65 episodes. This show is 65 episodes of sheer joy. And you know what? I can't think of one that I really hate. And look, this is me talking about. I'm always, and rightfully, I guess, I'm accused of being hypercritical. I love, you know how much I love Star Trek, original Star Trek and others. And there are episodes I hate. Well, I still love it because it's Star Trek, but I'll beat up on it and I'll give it a bloody nose if it deserves it. Is there in truth no beauty, as we did last week, or Spock's brain damage or something like that? I'll beat up on it a little bit, even though it doesn't mean I love Star Trek any less. But I'll, if it deserves to be criticized, fine. I'm not saying there are no episodes here you could criticize, but I can't name you one I out and out despise. Some maybe I like a little less than others. But of the 65 episodes, I can't name you one that I really thoroughly dislike. There may be one that's just escaping my memory, but I don't think so. So I'm going to go ahead and start with 25. We're going to, and I'm looking at a different screen from most of us, so I can't see much of the chat. And I love what's going on in the chat right now, believe me, but I'm just trying to stay focused. And I really appreciate you all being here tonight. And I don't know if this kind of thing even interests anyone, countdown lists and stuff like that, but I always have fun doing them. It allows me to talk about my favorite aspects of the show. And I'm going to get us started. And again, as far as order is concerned, Darius Munchausen, welcome, sir. Order is concerned, I don't love, like, for example, I probably don't love episode 21 that much more than episode 23 that I have on the list. Or I don't love maybe the number 12 episode much more than the number 14th. These lists are tough to do that way. But I'm doing them as a list order just for organization's sake. But I love all of these. Everyone on this list I love and more. So I'm going to start now. With let's see, number 25. Let me go down. Let me get ready here. And again, any of you who are familiar with the show, I would be interested in your take and the things you have to say about the episode, and if they would make your list if you had a list and whatnot. Because this is brutal, and the order can be flipped around a little bit, like I said. Let's see. So, let's see. If we're ready to get moving, we're about to. Here we go. I'm about to start. Number 25. I usually do this with a partner, but I didn't really have anybody who wanted to make a list with me and do it. So, it's fun. I'm just going to do it on my own here. My number 25 on my top 25 all-time favorite episodes of Batman the Brave and the Bold is called The Power of Shazam. This one just holds a special place in my heart because I'm a big fan of Captain Marvel, the real deal Captain Marvel. I love the Billy Batson Captain Marvel. This episode borrows from a lot of different comic books as well, it seems. I think there's actually even an episode along the lines that was an adaptation of there was a comic book, DC based a comic on this series. And they had one episode that, much like with Batman Mad Love for the animated series, there was that was later adapted on the show, but it was a comic first. There was even an episode that happened with Batman Brave and the Bold. But this one actually borrows from a couple of different spots. It has about Savannah. It's about the Marvel family. And it's just it's all about them. And I just adore it. Let's see. I'm having a bit of an issue with my computer here for a second. Hang on. Let's see. Where are you? All right. Sorry. I had a bit of a hang out with the computer. But Dr. Savannah basically, and again, it reminds me of an old DC Presents annual, if I remember right. But it could be fuzzy on that one. And Captain Marvel appeared in another one before, in a teaser before. Okay. But anyway, this one has the whole Marvel family. It has deals a lot of stuff with Billy Batson as a kid. And I'm going to try to go quick on these, by the way. So I'm not going to go too into detail because you should watch them anyway. But they come. Okay. But I really do love it because I love the Marvel family. The stuff with Black Adam, again, this is pure Captain Marvel goodness, pure Fawcett goodness at its best. And it is just Shazam, badass, yeah. So, Slade Wilson, welcome. It's good to see you. Thank you for popping in, sir. Hope I don't miss anyone. But yeah, So again, anyone who has any thoughts on any of these episodes, please throw them up there. If you even like any of these episodes, but this one is sheer fun. In fact, I just there are probably some episodes that might even be a little bit better, but I could not have one with the big red cheese in it for various reasons. So the Power Shazam, that's my number 25. And again, I'm gonna go kind of quick on some of these early ones here. So that's not to take too much time. Now, this next episode is probably my number 24. Could be higher. It's probably one of the weirdest episodes of the series. And no, it might be the weird. If it's not the weirdest episode of the series, I don't know what is. And again, it's the next one is a testament to how amazingly imaginative, how creative the people who made this show really, really are. They love old comic book lore, and boy, does this have some of that. And a little more going to be still dealing with the Fawcett character. They're not afraid to really go crazy with something and just off the deep end with it, and then in the best of ways. So my number 24, and again, it could rate higher. Some people might have this higher. It's called Joker, the Vile and the Villainous. Some could rate this episode higher. The Joker, as you know, the show is called Batman the Brave and the Bold. Well, they've changed the episode to title and everything. It's sort of like this crazy other dimension where the show's not called Batman the Brave and the Bold anymore. It's called The Joker, the Vile and the Villainous. And the opening teaser is insane. It's one of the best teasers. It's insane because the Joker goes to the future to meet Commandy, which of course Batman does in a couple of episodes. In one teaser and one whole episode, which I'll talk about later. It doesn't make the list, but comes close. Jack Kirby's Commandy in the teaser of this episode. My chat's freezing up. I hope you're all still there. I hope you're all still hearing me. Showing them on. I'm on. But this is a character that you see here called the Weeper, the Joker, and he's a Fawcett character. I think he's a Bullet Man villain. If you don't know who Bullet Man is, he's very obscure. Bullet Man in Nickel Comics. He's a character that was I believe it was Fawcett. Was he Fawcett? I think, yeah. I'm sure Phantom Outsider knows. But that opening has the Joker basically go into the future, kills Commandy and everyone. I mean, he wins. He blows up the Commandy future. And you watch that when you open it, like, what in the hell? Holy crap. The Joker wins. And then the whole episode is about, it focuses on the Joker, and he meets the Weeper at the supervillain bar or whatever, I guess. Fawcett, right. And with Spy Swatter, yeah. I call him Spy Swatter as a joke to J-Men Forever. J-Man, I don't know if you're familiar with a Fireside Theater spoof film called J-Men Forever, so it's a habit for me to call Spy Smasher Spy Swatter. But anyway, yes. The Weeper and the Joker considers him the first actual supervillain, so he idolizes him. And then this episode is so insane. It's off the wall. It's crazy. Batman's kind of, from their point of view, Batman's the bad guy. Batman's the villain and stuff. And this episode focuses on the Joker. And it's totally nuts. It turns the show up on its head. Thank you, Jester, and I appreciate that, by the way, for the sound check. It's just, again, won't go too far into it. It's just a whole lot of fun. It's crazy because you watch it and it's unsettling almost. Like, wow, this is a Joker episode, especially what happens in that teaser. So it's basically about the Joker trying to help the Weeper get his villainous mojo back the whole time, because the Weeper is his idol, his hero. It's the first supervillain. And the guy that does the voice of the Joker, I always forget his name, and I'm sorry, I don't have the name of the guest cast in front of me. I forgot to put that up there. Oh, what's that guy's name? Oh man, I'll find it later. But yeah, This is an hilarious episode though, and it is a weird. That's what this show. I'm telling you, this show goes off the wall, insane, weird sometimes in a great way. Hot, so imaginative, so visual. Visuals are just amazing, and this is it just shows how innovative these people are. They will take anything, and they really stretch the envelope because they did stuff. No kid's going to understand anything going on in this episode. They'll just watch it, and they might even go, "Daddy, why is the Joker all? Why is it all about the Joker?" I don't know, son. Just is, and it's fantastic. Absolutely, it's just, and it could be higher. It's a brilliant episode. But all the ones on my list, in my opinion, are brilliant. My number 23 episode of Batman Brave and the Bold is The One That Got Away. That's not the name of the episode. This is the one that got away from American television. It's called The Mask of Matches Malone. This episode, the Cartoon Network would not air this episode in the United States because it's pretty risque for a kiddie cartoon. It was from Cartoon Network, if you want to call it that. It's pretty risque. It has a very, very raunchy song in it. By the way, a common theme you'll find out here tonight, if you're not familiar with Batman, the Brave and the Bold, is there are a lot of music. They have a musical episode, which we'll talk about later, and they have a lot of musical numbers, a lot of music on the show. Great, hilarious songs that deal with superheroes and superhero themes and whatnot. In this episode, Batman, of course, loses his memory. Dr. Q Monkey, welcome. Batman loses his memory while trying to stop Catwoman from stealing this cloak that the wearer of which could die but come back to life 9 times. Catwoman, 9 lives, you know what I'm saying? And so she wants the cloak back, but and by the way, he's in his identity, his often used identity of Matches Malone, when he goes undercover in the criminal underworld in Gotham City. But he loses his memory and he starts to believe he really is Matches Malone. Well, the Birds of Prey, Huntress, Black Canary, and now teaming up with Catwoman, our old arch nemesis, Catwoman, as Adam West would say, team up to try to, Catwoman also wants to help Batman, but she wants the cloak. And Canary and Huntress, of course, want to help Batman. And Batman is now the supervillain in the episode because he thinks he's really Matches Malone. And he's got this cloak when he could die and it brings him back to life. You get 9 lives. And there's a scene where Matches and a whole bunch of bad guys are in this bar, this bad guy, bar, this big bar or whatever, where the Birds of Prey have they're trying to get to Batman to save him, and they perform a number called The Birds of Prey, and it's hilarious. The song's hilarious, and again, it's very raunchy. It's a standout. It's a highlight of the episode for sure, but it's also a very fun episode. A lot of great stuff between the Birds of Prey. They really are great in this one. This episode focuses a lot on Catwoman, Huntress, and Black Canary. The relationship is a lot of fun. Their banter is a lot of fun. And of course, you got to love, this is only back in like 2009, 10, right up in there. And yet they were allowed to make a cartoon where, yes, women are wonderful and beautiful and feminine. And as great as they are and as tough as they are, that they know that Batman is king of Gotham City. They know it. In this episode, there's also some great stuff with Two-Face, where Two-Face is pissed off that this new criminal's taking over his territory, Matches Malone, and he doesn't like it, and he gets involved, and wackiness ensues. It's a great episode. And of course, again, Cartoon Network was a bunch of wussies and wouldn't show it. They aired it in other countries. In fact, on the DVD set that they did a while back, which I have, this episode's not included in its natural rotation. It's on the last disc, disc 4, I think the last disc, as a special feature. And it's even in a different squashed format. It's not even in the normal format of the other episodes. It's weird. I don't think if they've done a Blu-ray, I don't have it yet. If the Blu-ray maybe inserts this one back into normal rotation, I don't know. But it's really weird. Because this episode was, if I remember right, it was supposed to be, it was second season. So, and it's just a strange thing. I don't know. Again, so I don't know. But it's a great episode. A lot of fun. Of course, they're all fun, but some of them are weird. And it's got some dark, and like I said, some dark and some even raunchy moments. And my next episode has some touching things. And again, I love all of these. My next episode, number 22, is titled The Fall of the Blue Beetle. Lord Thoth, welcome, sir. Good to see you, buddy. Avon lives and long live the Legion, my good friend, Lord Thoth. This one gets me right. I'm not going to say what the kids say with that stupid feels word, but it gets me right in the gut. This one just kills me every time because I love Ted Kord Blue Beetle, as I'm sure we have some Blue Beetle fans out there. And as you know, on this show, as it starts out, the original episodes, they use the at the time current Blue Beetle because DC Comics murdered the Ted Kord Blue Beetle in a bloodthirsty, horrible way. Maxwell Lord murdered him. It was garbage. It was disgusting what they did to Ted Kord. It really was. So, and this I didn't read any of the comics with the Blue Beetle that took up the mantle, Jaime Reyes. But so my introduction to Jaime was the very first episode of Batman Brave and the Bold. And I was kind of reluctant about him because he wasn't Ted Kord. Nothing against him. I'm a Ted Kord guy. And you might be a Dan Garrett guy, but either way, D. Bud Morton, welcome, sir. Welcome. I'm on episode number 22. Batman Brave and the Bold countdown. But I hated what DC did to Ted Kord. It was disgusting. So, at least this show gave us proper closure to Ted Kord. Yes, he's dead in that continuity as well, but this show gives an honorable hero's death worthy of a great character like Ted Kord. If you're going to kill a character, at least do it right. And also, this episode, and a couple others actually made me like Jaime a bit better. Jaime Reyes is getting a movie, as you all know, the Blue Beetle movie that's going to be coming out. I mean, it doesn't interest me necessarily, anything like that. But I think the character, I do like the character on this show. They handled him pretty well. Will the movie be any good or not? Maybe. I don't know. But Jaime was really good on this show. And this is the one where he really comes into form. He'd been in a couple episodes before as a full one in one of the teasers. So, Fall of the Blue Beetle is sort of closure for Ted Kord. I could ignore the idiot, horrible crap that DC did to him with Maxwell Lord blowing his head off, whatever the hell it was, and just say that if he died a hero's death, and this episode beautifully does that. So I love it for that. I really do. And strangely enough, my number 21 is related to it. It's from later. This was the first season when Fall of the Blue Beetle. Episode called Menace of the Madniks. And what I love about this episode is I've always been kind of have a bit of a soft spot for the Blue Beetle Booster Gold relationship. It's always kind of fun to me. And in this one, another one that's just a gut-wrenching episode. Ironcaster, welcome, my friend. Good to see you. This one's a gut-wrenching episode because it talks about events a couple of years before Ted Kord was killed, even though this episode does occur much later. If I remember correctly, this episode is from season 2, maybe. Might be season 1. Might be season 2. I'm not seeing it anyway. But this episode really gives you a little bit more closure. No, yes, season 2. Let's see here. I have the Blu-ray. I do not see Mask of Matches Malone listed, so I guess it's not part of the episode order. It might not be in the episode order, J-Man. It may be a special feature like it is on the DVDs. I'd be interested to know that if you know. Because at least they have it. But yeah, it's ridiculous. Why can't they just put it in with the rest of the episodes? It aired in other countries. So anyway, this episode is really touching. This is a tearjerker in a sense, because again, Booster misses his old buddy Beetle, and he's having this adventure with Batman, but they're referring to things that happened a few years ago. I think the great Jeffrey Combs does the voice of a character in this one. But one of the sad parts is funny, when they're some of the flashbacks to Beetle teaming up with Batman and then Booster coming around, it was kind of funny that, Beetle would say stuff like, yeah, I like Batman, but basically I like Batman and I work with him, but he's all business. He has more fun with Booster. So he worked with Batman. He liked him, but Batman was no fun for him to work with. He loved him, respected him, but he was no fun. And yeah, he and Booster would go off and goof off and have a lot of fun together as well. This episode's a tearjerker here in a sense because it's really sad. Great feeling and emotions in this one. And it's really a good one. My number 20 is another weirdo episode. They're weird. They're really, Joker, Viola, and the Villainous is a very weird episode, as I talked about. Well, there's another crazy weird one. I mean, nuts, that is dark, weird, funny, and has a great song and all that stuff. And it could be higher, much like Joker, Viola, and the Villainous. It's called Emperor Joker. Emperor Joker is a wild one, folks. Basically, Joker, not to put too fine a point on it, ends up being able to steal Batmite's powers. So, yes. And some of this has some similarities to the stuff that went on with the Shaper of Worlds in that story. There are a lot of callbacks to the old Batman Hulk team up with the Shaper of Worlds, in a sense, some of it in a strange way, because these guys know what they're doing. They understand references to old comics. And yes, look, there are a lot. Yeah, Darius, there are a lot of other reference. Yes, it was a reference to some old comics. Yes, I mean this is directly out of an old comic where the Joker steals a bat. I was also referring to that one with the Shaper of Worlds, but that is correct, sir. Yes. I did not hear that, Lord Thoth. Wow, weird. But this one is insane. If you see up there, by the way, that's Harley. The only time Harley appeared on Batman the Brave and the Bold, and she looks nothing like the conventional Harley, but that's okay. But this episode is hilarious. It's funny. Alpha Omega, welcome, my friend. It's just it's crazy. There's a great song performed. I keep forgetting. I'm so mad. I keep forgetting the name of the excellent actor who does the voice of the Joker. He has a song in it called "Smile, Darn You Smile" or whatever. The visuals in this episode are off the chart. The insane visuals and story components, whereas he keeps killing Batman over and over again. Again, this is a kiddie cartoon, folks. He he's murdering Batman over and over again because he's the Joker with godlike powers. And so it's truly one of the many really insane and extraordinarily visual episodes of this fantastic show, this great show. And it could be higher. Emperor Joker is a great one. It's weird. There's just so many great ones. My next one. That was, by the way, Emperor Joker, that was number 20. Number 19. My number 19 episode of Batman, the Brave and the Bold is called Death Race to Oblivion. This one is truly, it's amazing. Mongol, I think originally created maybe by Jim Starlin for DC Comics Presents, remember with War World and all that stuff, is comes to Earth and is kidnapping a bunch of different superheroes and villains. Let's see here. I was looking for something there, but okay, that's right. And he'd appeared earlier in the episode Duel of the Double Crossers, which was great, by the way, with Jonah Hex. But Mongol, Cam, welcome, sir. Good to see you. Mongol basically puts them all in a death race, and of course, the winner of the race survives. And if you go out of the race, you're toast. And of course, it's a race for the survival of the planet and all this kind of stuff. Bruce Lombardo, welcome, my friend. It's great to see you. What a great crowd we got here tonight, man. I appreciate you. And one of the most fun things about this, I don't care if it's a toy commercial, it's fantastic. And they should have made toys of all these. They should have made a toy Green Arrow's car, Joker's car. Plastic Man makes his own car out of his own body. Oh, yeah, Pat S., you remember this one, right? And it's just, of course, Batman's the best. And they keep the Guy Gardner's the jerk who makes his own car. This one has so much fun going for it. I mean, this is an episode that just keeps you laughing, has fun. Huntress is really great in this one. And, man, she flirts with Batman, of course, because she's not the Earth 2 Huntress. She's the Bertinelli Huntress, obviously. Joker's hilarious. It's funny. You got all these badass criminals and heroes and stuff, and of course, Steppenwolf is working for Mongol, and yet Joker and Bat is more than a match for all of them. Joker's truly amazing on this show. It's just a wonderful, fun, just out there episode. You just like a lot of these episodes. Not weird and crazy like Violent Villainous or Emperor Joker. Not complicated like some of the other ones, or even heartbreaking like Menace of the Madniks or Fall of Blue Beetle. Just sheer, like the show was often. Fun. Crazy fun. Very inventive episode. Exciting. I love it. That's true. By the way, Phantom Outsider, thank you. Good call. It has an appearance by Woozy Winks. Woozy Winks is in this episode. And I almost forgot about it. Phantom Outsider, you are the man. For those who don't know, of course, Plastic Man's longtime buddy. Plastic Man's hilarious on the show. So this is number 19. I really love Death Race to Oblivion. Now, there are many best lists of this show, and maybe some of mine wouldn't make the list of others, but what are you going to do? My number 18 is an episode called Powerless. Powerless, folks. This episode is fantastic and hilarious. The great character of Aquaman, who I guess I should talk a little bit about, since this is the first one we're running to on my list, though not the last, where Aquaman is featured. Voiced by John DiMaggio, whom I got to meet one time. For those who don't know, they did. Phantom Outsider, that's true. They really did go into Plastic Man's past a lot. E.L. O'Brien's past is there. So, the Captain Atom episode is really an Aquaman Batman episode as well. Aquaman on this show, and I even told John DiMaggio this, not that he really understood it. Aquaman, for people who like to make fun of Aquaman, my friend Ace Castire and I, we call him Aqualese. He is more like the Marvel version of Hercules on this show than he is Aquaman. In my opinion, I think he's blatantly based off the Marvel version of Hercules, to be honest with you. Not only is he built like him, he talks like him and acts like him. I call this the story of the time and so forth. The bluster, the way he talks. Oh, don't let your crushing defeat get a hold of you, old chum. And in this one, you have to hear the song he sings to pump up Captain Atom. Captain Atom is being a real jackass to Batman because Captain Atom doesn't respect Batman because he doesn't have superpowers. Captain Nathaniel Atom, in one of his many costumes, let's put it like that, what it looks like is one of his old Charlton costumes, is kind of a jackass. He's with the Justice League now, and he's treating Batman like a second stringer. He calls him a C-lister. And because he says something, you guys always act like Batman is so great, is the greatest. And even Aquaman says, because it's true. Everyone knows how great Batman is, but idiot Nathaniel Atom doesn't see that. He says all he sees are superpowers. And later, when Major Force manages to take his superpowers away, he feels like nothing because he mistakenly believes that, my superpowers make me a superhero. And he said, don't let your crushing defeat get you down, old chum, says Aquaman. Big superpower basically says, something along the lines of about not having superpowers. He says, yeah, a no power having C-lister, maybe. He goes, is Batman a C-lister? Is that what you think? Well, you're wrong, because Batman knows how to take a punch because he has the only superpower you need, heart. And he sings a great song called Aquaman's Rousing Song of Heroism. And you got to find that on YouTube. It's hilarious. And the episode, of course, beyond that also is a lot of fun. It teaches about heroism and how heart is what you need. And the song says that in a fun, hilarious way, but a true way. And there's a lesson there, and there's a lot of fun in this episode, a lot of heart to it, if you will. And it's a pun in the sense if you see the episode. But I really do love Powerless, and because I'm a big fan of Captain Atom. He's a great character, and this is this one is just a top-notch episode. I don't know. I went on about it a little bit. I'm sorry. Let's go to number 17. My episode number 17 is a two-parter, one of the few two-parters called Deep Cover for Batman. Second part being Game Over for Owlman. Batman winds up in a parallel dimension. And if any one of you remember the old comics with the group called Earth 3 called the Crime Syndicate. Thanks, Chris Persia. Chris Persia just posted the link to Aquaman's rousing song of heroism. It's hilarious, especially with the visuals. You got to see it if you have not seen that. It is fantastic. Thank you, Chris. Yeah, this Aqualese. Yep, we always called him Aqualese. Ace Castard. Yeah, exactly. Ace Castard. That's what we always called him. That's right. Bader does Owlman. Thank you, buddy. He does Owlman's voice. So anyway, many of you are probably familiar with the Earth 3, where the superheroes are all bad guys and vice versa. I won't go too far into this one because you kind of see it really. But when Batman shows up there, he finds out that there are all these villainous versions of the superheroes, and some of the villains are actually the good guys. And because Batman gets framed because Owlman makes it into Batman's universe and starts committing all these crimes. And so and the Joker's not happy about it. So when Batman goes back to his to his Earth, he's a wanted criminal. Before he does that, of course, he meets the Red Hood, a good guy. Anyway, I won't go into it because there's a lot of kind of like surprises. Let's put it like that way. But he ends up having a team up. I'll put it this way, and it does end up having the team up with the Joker when he's back on his world. And it's just, I think I believe that's in the second part. And it's just a lot of fun, man. Again, this one is one of those ones you just go, it's fun. But there's some serious aspects to it as well. It's funny, the Joker actually saves him. Which is really a lot of fun stuff between Batman and the Joker. I'm not sure how long I'll be on either Cardinal, but let's see. No problem, Cardinal Sense. I don't know how you're going to be on, but at 9 p.m. Central, 9:30 p.m. Central, I host a UFO researcher, Peter Robbins, on my channel, and if you'd shout it out and link the channel, I'd be very grateful. I can't really find the link right now, but I think I might have a link in my description below to your channel. You'd have to check. I think I put one in there, Cardinal. Anyway, where's I? So anyway, yep, number 17 is a two-parter, but I count them as one episode. I'm just doing it that way. One story, because it's, again, of course, that's what it is. It's one story. So deep cover for Batman, game over for Owlman. No problem, buddy. No problem. Let's see here. All right, everyone. Number 16 is... I get to my picture here. Where? Okay. Number 16. Clash of the Metal Men. Jesterson went and listened to the Aquaman song. Yeah, isn't it? It's hilarious. And the visuals are just, good God, I love it. That is so much fun. Great job by John DiMaggio on that one. Thank you again for that, Chris Persia. Clash of the Metal Men. I always had a soft spot for the Metal Men. I don't know about any of you. But again, this episode, like, well, all of them, so many of them, is a testament to how much that James Tucker and his crew really mind and really loved old Silver Age and even Bronze Age comics, because the Metal Men popped up in the Batman, the Brave and Bold comic quite a bit. They were in a lot of issues of it, and I always loved them. And this one even had the Gas Gang in it, for God's sake. The bad guys in this one, the Gas Gang. I'm like, it's just, again, I won't even go too far into it because I'm going to keep moving. This one is just pure fun. The Metal Men are just one of the craziest but most fun concepts. And I love the bit where, well, look at Batman's armor when they all comprise this armor for Batman. What a classic episode this is. It's just too much fun for words. Let's see here. All right, number 15. Number 15 is Cry Freedom Fighters. Freedom Fighters. Who picked up Freedom Fighters in the 70s? In the Bronze Age run on the Freedom Fighters comic. Again, I picked it up for a while. Those Ernie Chua covers and others. Yeah, Who are you? Just a man or a Superman? The man we turn. I'm sorry. Sorry, everyone. I didn't mean to sing. I apologize. I can't help it. I love that song. Plastic Man. Again, if you're not, I guess there are people that don't like Plastic Man. I love him. And I love the Freedom Fighters. I bought it for a while. This episode is, I mean, it's so great. The patriotism in it, the concept of it, how the patriotism, all that stuff about, Uncle Sam. You have Phantom Laney, Doll Man, Human Bomb, the Ray. Sorry, not Light Ray. He's the new guy. The Ray. Black Condor. Oh God. Oh yeah, you gotta love Phantom Lady, man. Holy crap. I'd agree with that Phantom Outsider. Human Bomb was underused in comics. Except in Kingdom Come when he told a guy to pull his finger and he blew up. Remember that? Anyway. But this episode is hilarious. It's just so imaginative. And good God, how do you not love the scene at the end when you get, I hate to be spoiler, but you get Batman basically as Captain America. That was so good. It was just so damn good. Yeah. What a fun episode, man. What a great one, in my opinion. I adore this one. A lot of fun. Won't go too deeply into it because you got to kind of see it. It's really imaginative. Very clever. Well, the whole show's clever, of course. It's not no surprise there. So, but I love it. Now, my next one really, it may be criminally low. It's so great, but I'm going to, it's tough. All these are great. So, maybe it's not. This next one is fantastic. I didn't even pick the best pictures from it because, just one basically representative picture. By next episode, number 14 is The Eyes of Despero. Despero, classic Justice League villain, of course. Steve Mitchum, what's up, buddy? Great to see you, bud. Good to see you. Classic Justice League villain Despero is on the move throughout the galaxy and attacks Oa. And the Green Lanterns are the last line of defense. They're in trouble. And so, as Despero's taking over the minds of all of these Green Lanterns, in the last-ditch effort, Hal Jordan sends his Green Lantern ring to Earth. And he sent it to find you-know-who, the Bat. I think while he's fighting the Cavalier, if I remember right. I think so. And anyway, it brings Batman out into space, and there are only a few surviving lanterns that haven't been taken over yet. Guy Gardner, of course. Nort, the dog Green Lantern. Sinestro, who at this point is still a Green Lantern. He's not turned yet. We don't know. Well, we kind of learn about him in this one. And they meet another Green Lantern that I'll mention in a bit. But they and Batman, that's it. Well, it's found out, and Kilowog, right? Was Kilowog in there? Was Kilowog? Kilowog got turned. No, I think it's just those. Kilowog is in there, but just for a second. So, even though Batman can't technically wear a Green Lantern ring, they all use their rings to basically give him a Green Lantern armor and give him Green Lantern powers of a sort. Oh, yeah, that's true, John. I think you're right. John DiMaggio did voice to Kilowog. Yeah, I love Kilowog, man. But anyway, so in the fight against Despero actually, it's funny. Some of the stuff between Batman and Sinestro is amazing. Sinestro is great in this one because Sinestro is not outed yet until later as a villain, as you all know. Oh, cool. Golden Age stories with the Cavalier. Cool, man. D. Bud Martin. Nice. So Batman basically, in a sense, as a Green Lantern, helping the Corps fight. And of course, Guy Gardner has a lot of funny stuff. Nort is pretty annoying in it, but they decide there's only one place they can go to recharge. They need to recharge and get power, and they go to Mogo, the planet, the Green Lantern planet, because Despero's going to go after him. And Nort's ridiculous, but finally he's still, at least he acts heroic. There's some goofy stuff with Nort, which is fine. But the stuff with Sinestro and Batman, and then later, at the very end when all looks lost, we find out that the whole Green Lantern Corps, other than the ones that were in the episode, were in the Green Lantern. They'd all put themselves with the Guardians in that ring that was sent to Batman because Hal Jordan said, I knew you'd make it back with the ring or whatever. They knew they could trust Batman. That's how great Batman is. The Guardians of the Universe and the Green Lantern Corps trusted Batman with their lives because Batman's Batman. And who doesn't love Batman? Great episode. Number 13, folks. Number 13. The number 13 episode of Batman Brave in the Boat is Aquaman's Outrageous Adventure. Outrageous! My God. Another loony comedy of an episode. Alpha Omega. Appreciate that. Well, like I said, as I set up earlier, this cartoon may not be for everyone because it is sheer fun, but man, I love it. It makes me happy. So I appreciate you there. Aquaman. So this episode, Aqualese, this is so ridiculous. And yes, Aquaman has a catchphrase. He says everything outrageous. I even have that on a T-shirt. I have a Batman Brave and the Bold Aquaman T-shirt. An orange one with him saying, outrageous. I have another one with him saying, I'll call this the time I got a really cool T-shirt. Anyway, Aquaman takes Mira and and it's funny, Aquaman's son in this has the blue and white ocean color looking costume that he had in the old 80s 4-issue miniseries, Aquaman miniseries by, I believe it was by was it Neil Posner or something? Was it something Posner or whatever? I forget the artist's names now, but really Craig Posner or whatever. What was that artist? Anyway, there was a miniseries, an Aquaman miniseries in the mid 80s where he didn't have the orange outfit. He had kind of a blue and white weird. Actually, I don't usually like costume changes, but I thought that costume was kind of okay. Well, as a kind of a nod to that, Aquaman's son has that costume. I keep forgetting the name of the artist because he's a guy that didn't draw a lot of comics, but he was a pretty good artist. I actually liked that miniseries. Thought it was pretty good. So that's kind of a fun thing. And Aquaman, I mean, he's traveling the country in an RV with his family, traveling to see the world. That's so un-Aquaman, but who cares? It's funny. And of course, Aquaman, he loves his family and all, but he can't help himself. He always wants to get involved in adventures. There's even one hilarious shot where he's driving down the interstate, and who is taking his family out on a vacation, looks just as miserable, is the villain Sportsmaster. So there's a super villain, well, if you call Sportsmaster super, who was later in an episode voiced by Thomas F. Wilson, true story, Sportsmaster, is riding. He looks just as miserable. Wasn't it Sportsmaster in that one? I believe so. No. And it was hilarious. He's, this episode is freaking, again, he's bringing them all over the place, but he keeps getting involved, running into places where there's, superheroes doing something, and he can't help but get involved. And they have, again, this one has some pretty obscure characters. Yeah, he runs into the Atom and Blue Beetle, I think, at one point. Green Arrow, the Hal Jordan Green Lantern pops in for a second. Red Tornado at some point. Let's see. They even do an appearance of Planet Master. I repeat, Planet Master. If you don't know who he is, you probably have a life. But the episode is just crazy fun, and of course, culminating in a team up where he and the whole family help Batman fight the Penguin. It's just ludicrous, and I love it. Again, it's one of those episodes you just kind of just sit back and you laugh from nonstop. It's just great. It's hilarious. Let's see here. All right. Or number 12. You know, it kills me that this one's not in my top 10 because it should be, as my bad grammar would say. It perhaps should be. Chris Persia, you got to run, buddy? All right, Chris Persia, thank you for being here, my friend. I really appreciate you, bud. Good to see you, man. You know, that's a good point, Phantom. It is sort of like the old Shazam live action show where they're riding around seeing the country in an RV. That's a good guy. It could be. You never know. That could have been. These guys love the old stuff, so it could be. Liger fan is Sportsmaster on the Stargirl show? Really? Well. Anyway, are you kidding? No, could be. All right. Anyway, my number 12, folks, is the Super Batman of Planet X. Posner, that's right. I mean, Hamilton was the artist. Posner was the writer. Thanks, dude. I haven't read that thing since the 80s. I like that, though. I thought it was pretty good, if I remember right. My God, this episode. And, of course, the voice of the great Kevin Conroy, folks. As the Batman of Zuranar or whatever. Zinar. What was it? Zinar? What was the name of that damn planet again? Look. But there we go. I was trying to find the name of that planet. Yeah, Zuranar, where Batman ends up after in a competition with Pat S. I can't blame you for being a top fiver. I love it. Dude, that's a great rating, man. This is I look, if it's in my number 12, and I love these episodes so much. If it's in my top 20, I love them almost all on the same footing. But it's tough to put them in any kind of order. But I wanted to go in some sort of order. So 12 is top 5. I can't blame you, my friend. This episode is wonderful. Batman ends up on a planet, and this is based on an old Golden Age comic. Which I should have loaded the cover. I'm going to find the cover and load it later. Batman of Planet X. Remember that? I've seen that cover many times. There we go. Let's look at it. Yeah, you know what? I'm gonna find that cover and show it if I can find it somewhere. I'll do it later. By the way, there's even a figure of that somewhere. Someone did a figure on that. I can't find. Oh, there we go. Yeah, Batman number 113. If anyone wants to see the cover, well, Super Batman featuring Batman, Superman of Planet X. Remember that? Yeah. So I can't find it right now, but I found a little bit of the cover. But anyway, yeah. So anyway, Batman goes to Zuranar and through some strange warp after he's running around. He and Green Arrow are in space in their ships. And he ends up on this planet with Superman-type powers. Whereas, of course, the Batman of Zuranar, voiced by the great Kevin Conroy, is like Batman of his world, just normal powers. So he becomes Superman on that world in a sense. All right, Cardinal Sin, good to see you, buddy. Thank you for being here, bud. And it's so much fun, but I love it toward the end when Batman kind of realizes that he doesn't have his fighting edge. The superpowers made him sloppy, and it took away his fighting edge in a sense, which was kind of a funny and interesting bit of the episode. But it's just sheer fun, and the fact that they did it a lot, but this one, when I first saw it, it just stood out. I'm like, oh my God, I remember that cover, the Batman, Superman of Planet X. I remember that. They're adapting this episode. Holy crap. I can't believe they're doing this. It was so much fun. It's just, I just love it. I really do love it. So, let's see. That is number 12. Super Batman and Planet X, number 12, folks. And I always, you know what? I like saying the Super Batman and Planet X. The Super Batman and Planet. I used to aggravate people by saying the Super Batman and Planet X after that episode came out because I'm annoying. Sorry. And I'm childish. Number 11, folks. All right. I understand there's a lot of bat worship out there. But this episode is great. Night of the Batman. Yeah, Pat, that would be tough to collect all those. But Night of the Batman. Batman is very critically injured in a body cast, and he's going to be there for months and months on end, as you can see in that middle picture there. So, he's on the Justice League satellite, and the Martian Manhunter is very adamant that he stay there until he recovers. But Batman, being Batman, says, crime doesn't take off for injuries, neither do I. And so he's at war with Martian Manhunter to let him go. He said, I'm going to go no matter what condition I'm in, and he won't let him. He keeps trying to keep him there. Yeah, the supremacy. That's a good call. The sort of like the supremacy, all those different Batman. So, his good friends, and this look, Captain Marvel, Aquaman, Green Arrow, and Plastic Man all decide. First of all, they want to help Batman, but they also get this thing. They're superheroes of their own right. Welcome to Catman, aka D.D. Myers. Good to see you, my friend. They actually want. I mean, again, they're superheroes in their own right. Yet they look up to Batman, so they won't go to Gotham City and say, "Well, I got to take over for Batman." They all get to the idea to do it separately. They want to go pretend to be Batman. Or they want to actually know what it was. Remember, they are superheroes in every sense of the word. But they want to go take over in Gotham City for Batman, who has no superpowers. And these guys are all powerful. So they all put themselves in hilarious versions of the costume, of their own variations. And they have these various adventures fighting these criminals in Batman. I think Captain Marvel fights, what was it, Blockbuster and... If I remember right now, Blockbuster and Grundy or something like that. And anyway, I love that there's a great scene where Plastic Man keeps messing with his Batman costume. But anyway, point being is they all end up seeing what night is, what it's like to be Batman, while Batman is trying to sneak out of the satellite. And every time one of them has a big fight with a couple of, a Batman dust-up, I figure, J-Man, I figure Plastic Man never has any pants, does he? In a sense, he always has bare legs, but am I missing? But anyway, am I missing something there? But anyway, but yeah. So, and every time one of them gets through in a big fight that they barely get out, they go, "Wow, how does Batman do this with no superpowers?" They're all realizing, "Wow, how does Batman do this?" And they're great superheroes. Green Arrow, Aquaman, Plastic Man, Captain Marvel live up with their powers. Well, Batman, is still trying to sneak out of the satellite. He's having this kind of funny little conflict with Martian Manhunter to get out, and won't let him out. But he's Batman, so he's gonna get out. And eventually Joker realizes these guys aren't Batman. And he's not happy. Joker has this absolutely outrageous contraption where he captures all of them. Then you have to suspend a little disbelief. I'm not sure how he could capture Captain Marvel with his powers. Yeah, Aquaman's pretty strong too. But the point is, he captures him. Well, Batman manages to escape and get sort of like an exoskeleton type thing, but he's still in a body cast and all that stuff. And it's funny, the Joker's disappointed in these guys because he caught him. But Batman shows up and the Joker's so happy to see Batman. And of course, Batman kicks his ass. At the end, Batman still realizes he kind of needs help. And as you can see, I've spoiled the hell out of it. Who cares? You see that Batman gets help from these Batmans from all these other universes. Yeah, Batman would be the way to say it. Night of the Batman. But needless to say, this episode is just so much fun. It really is. A third seasoner, if I recall right. Has a great teaser too. We'll talk about teasers a little bit in a little bit there. But yeah, again, they have some appearances of some other. Yeah, I think some other villains pop into this one, of course. A ton of villains pop into this one. And they got all these different Batmans. Batman of the multiverse. At one point, I believe you see a Adam West Batman costume, if I remember right. Anyway, so I love this episode. Let's see here. Yeah, I hear you, Alpha. All right, where are we at? Oh my God, folks, we're at number 10. We're in the top 10, ladies and gerbils. I mean, I love all these anyway, but here's where it gets hot and heavy. They're going to start judging me on my top 10. You can judge me, that's okay. My number 10 all-time favorite episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold is The Color of Revenge. Look, I admit it. I have a soft spot for Robin, and I have a soft spot for this costume, even though this is an older Robin. It's pretty much very much based on the Earth 2 Robin costume, the second one, which I adore. This episode even opens up with an homage to the Batman TV show. It's got Batman and Robin answering the red phone, Commissioner Gordon fighting Crazy Quilt. Jeffrey Tambor doing the voice, by the way. I'm remiss in naming a lot of these voices because I'm trying to go quick, whatever, and I just, again, I only had so much time, so sometimes I remember who did voices, sometimes I didn't. They were all incredible. I mean, don't get me wrong. I mean, Andre Romano, who, cast the voices for all the Bruce Timmverse stuff. J-Man, I also have an Earth 2 Robin figure. Yeah, and this costume, I love this costume, man. I love it. But the opening has, of course, a much younger Robin causing Crazy Quilt to go blind in the teaser. So the teaser is actually connected, in this case, in a rare case, connected to the body of the episode. And this episode's all about Robin. It's all about the complex relationship at the time. Because you see, I always hated it when, and even back then, in the Bronze Age, when they went a little bit too far with the division between Robin and Batman with Dick Grayson and Bruce Wayne. But there was some of the friction works, and this deals with that very well. Perfection indeed. I do love the old Robin Kid costume, but I love this one, man. I kind of like the first Earth 2 Robin Batman costume, but the second one, which this is kind of based on, it's fantastic. I really, and I love Dick Grayson. He'll always be my favorite Robin. I know there are other ones, and it's all fine and good, but I'm just Dick Grayson guy, In fact, I was always really kind of aggravated at first when Wolf and Impress put him they changed him to Nightwing with the disco Robin Nightwing outfit, because I kind of liked it on Earth too when he stayed an adult Robin. But that's just me being silly, being old. So the Color of Revenge is a great episode. Robin, coming into his own, but still teaming up with Batman. This is a wonderful episode. There's so much. It's fun, but it's also really touching. The relationship between Batman and Robin is really, it's on a rocky place, but they really do a nice job with it. They really are a father and son type thing. And I love it. This show can be so much fun. It can be so wacky. It can be so imaginative. It can be so creative and out there and crazy and insane and fun. And it can be touching. The episodes I've been talking about, all those elements are in various episodes. So I love it. Dick Grayson is a first-string hero. I love it. Yeah, same here, Ace Cast. I love Dick Grayson, man. Dick Grayson is great. And he's very different from Bruce Wayne in a lot of ways, but also he was trained by the best, and you got to love him. He's just amazing. So I can't say enough about how much I love this episode. This episode is terrific, in my opinion. Number 9. Okay, we're getting back to sad stuff again, folks. This number 9 is it's beautiful. It's brutal. It's tough. It's people say this show is too silly. This one's almost as dark as this show gets, in a beautiful way, in a sad way. The Last Patrol. The poor doomed Doom Patrol, folks. This episode, if it doesn't get you, you're not watching you're not into this show. Because it's heartbreaking. Doom Patrol, of course, well, they're kind of aptly named the Doom Patrol. I know there's a TV series right now. I don't really care for all that modern crap. It is highly entertaining. They kind of take you through a bit of in some instances, a visual or pictorial little look at the history, briefly at the history of the characters of the Doom Patrol, which again, actually predate the original X-Men by a couple of weeks. So make of that what you will. I don't make that argument really. I don't really make an argument out of it. Just saying, My Greatest Adventure 86 or whatever the hell it was. I don't know. But anyway, I love the Doom Patrol, always have. And I really never got to see much of them until much later. Remember, Wolfman Perez kind of brought the original Doom Patrol back a little bit. Yep. Will we ever get made for class fans, says Ace Castron. Will we ever get a show like this? No, never. Oh, Catman, yeah, you love the Doom Patrol as well. I love the Doom Patrol. And this one, what's that saying they keep saying? Because the Doom Patrol in this show, we are the Doom Patrol. We are the Doom Patrol. And again, pretty dark stuff. What caused them to quit, and then that. What happened to that hostage. And again, this one I'm not going to go into too much of the spoiler area. Because some you can do that and it doesn't matter. This one is a heartbreaker. A dear friend of mine, a lady friend of mine who was really into the show, I remember back when this first came out, or when she first got into it, we were talking about it. This one in a spate of episodes. She's going, "What is it with this show? I love it, but they're killing me." She saw that this one really got to her. And Pat S says, I really thought Batman would pull it off at the end. They did trick us. This is get you right in the gut, man. It's a wonderful episode. It shows this show can be really lighthearted, but yet tragic at the same time. This is about close to if not the most tragic this show has ever been. Although the next one I got for you is kind of as well. So this is a beautiful episode to be experienced. I love it. Next, my number 8 is the show's other two-parter, The Siege of Starro. Starro lives. Starro lives. Starro lives. The classic DC baddie Starro. And what's really great about this is, of course, as I've spoken, for those who are not familiar with the show, as I said, each episode of Batman Brave and the Bold opens with a little mini episode, a little teaser before the pre-credits. for the credits. And early on in the season, in I guess it was season 2. This was season 2. They started building up to this story, to this 2-parter, where they were Starro, of course, is a starfish, an alien starfish-looking thingy, which attaches itself to the face of a person and takes over their mind, of course. And this is a prelude to an invasion. Well, for a number of episode teasers, Starro was slowly taking over all the superheroes. And finally leading up to this adventure. And God, this was so good. We find that, and they added kind of a different twist. These guys are so, look, what's so great about the people who made this show, James Tucker and Michael Jelenic and whoever else, and all these writers and these wonderful writers and directors, they're always able to bring certain types of spins on it. For example, Starro used to just do Starro's own thing, but they created this character in this one that sort of again, look, it's, what did he call himself again? What did that character call himself? Sorry, I'm having trouble with my my screen a little bit, folks. Let's see. No, why am I forgetting his name? Because I'm old and stupid. That's why. That's right, the Faceless Hunter. Okay, because he's not he's created for this show. Oh, J-Man, you got to run this. I'm sorry about that, bro. Well, good to see you, man. I really appreciate you. Thank you for being here, sir. It's good to see you, buddy. Faceless Hunter, who is basically similar to sort of like a herald for Starro. So like, as in Silver Surfer to Galactus, or Terrax to Galactus, or Gabriel to Galactus, and so forth. Sort of like a herald, if you will. And Faceless Hunter has this deal with Starro, and to serve, basically sort of like almost like a mercenary type character who collects folks, who collects beings. And Faceless Hunter is the one helping Starro collect all these people. And again, he's not an established DC character. He was created for this show. And the only characters, or the only heroes who have not yet been taken over by Starro are, of course, Batman, Bwana Beast, Captain Marvel, Firestorm. He's a different version of Firestorm than I cared for, but he's the one that was current at DC Comics at the time. I don't ever like the idea of Ronnie Raymond being in the Professor Stein role, but what are you gonna do? And I've always kind of scoffed at Bwana Beast, to be honest. Faceless Hunter takes an interest in Bwana Beast because he has crazy, weird powers, and he looks weird. And of course, he's in love. He's in love with Vixen. Vixen is his girlfriend. But Bwana Beast really impresses him. So does Batman. Faceless Hunter is this warrior type, who's that's what he is. He's a hunter. And anyway, he becomes interested in this weird character, Bwana Beast, who's kind of relatively obscure. He's a DC character, of course. And he's popped up in other episodes, by the way. A teaser, and I think an episode called Gorillas in Our Midst or something. So Bwana Beast has been on the show. And Bwana Beast, like I said, interests Faceless Hunter. While Batman, of course, he ends up being taken by the Faceless Hunter at some point. Batman has to gather the group without going too far into it. There's one really hilarious reference where there's a big fight in the street or something, and somebody crashes into a sign of this van, and on the van it says Sugar and Spike diaper collecting service or whatever, a laundry service or something like that. Sugar and Spike is a very obscure reference to an old DC comic called Sugar and Spike about a couple of babies and stuff, which I thought was kind of funny. Neither here nor there, but funny. They did a lot. The show's filled with great references like that. So without going too far down the rabbit hole, because even though, again, we all knew that the Doom Patrol was kind of doomed, the second part of this episode is just, the first part's great. This is just a wonderful episode. Two great, very thrilling two-parters. It's got a real dark edge to it, and it has, again, just a gut-wrenching, terribly sad ending. This is the big epic of the show, with a terribly sad, heartbreaking ending. But again, it packs a great dramatic wallop. It really does. This is a fantastic two-parter. Both two-parters they've had on the show are fantastic. And just, again, these guys really, really poured it all into this work. And, again, it's such a... Some might say it's filet mignon disguised as hamburger because it has that cartoony look and feel. They do a lot of fun, crazy things, but it has so much extraordinary imagination on this series. And sometimes it can be deeply dramatic and heart-wrenching and yet maintaining a sense of fun. So many things done so well, balanced so well on this show. It's just terrific. The creators of this show, the producers and the writers and the directors and the voice casting and the voices are all to be commended. It's just a marvelous work. And this is one of the finest. And I've only got this one at number 8. Number 7. Who's ready for number 7? I know I went on that one a while, folks, but I don't really do a lot of spoilering, so that's a good thing, right? Number 7, folks. This one, again, a lot of it's pure nostalgia, but it is also really fun. A lot of fun, and for a change, we get start out kind of sad, and then we get uplifting episode in Requiem for a Scarlet Speedster. Let's see. I'm wondering how many of these episodes people are saying, how is that one so low? I don't know if any of you have the Requiem for a Scarlet Speedster, folks. This is one of those that really gets me because I was really not expecting the way they went with it. And hey, James Tucker, thank you, sir. Because in my opinion, as a fan of the Barry Allen Flash, and I love the Flash, I love Jay and I love Wally, but Wally will be Kid Flash because I just love Barry. In my opinion, DC Comics treated Barry Allen Flash horribly in the early 80s, and then what they did to him with Crisis on Infinite Earths. And by the time they brought him back with the Flash Rebirth stuff, Jeff Johns and Ethan Van Sciver tried and stuff, I was just really soured on the way they treated this character. Just for me, everyone's different. Some people don't mind. It's fine. But I love Barry Allen. And as such, this episode starts out, you think Barry, they're all mourning Barry. Barry's dead. I mean, even the villains, his rogues gallery, think Barry is dead. Indeed, Ace Cast Iron. True, buddy. His comic was awful. Then they murdered him in Crisis, and they just really have dumped on Barry Allen for a long time. I can't speak for James Tucker. He probably, if you asked him, he'd probably say, I don't know what that fat fool's talking about. But it almost seems to me that those guys love Barry Allen as well, and they decided to right a wrong or to correct an injustice. Because this episode starts out like a bummer, like he's already dead. Even this rogues gallery misses him. And then we find out, after a couple of episodes that Trial of Flash was terrible. Ace Cast Iron. After 2 episodes that just took something away, it took things great stories, that it took some certain things away. This one gave us something back. This episode gives us something back. Yeah, it's spoilery. The show's old, but sometimes it's not so much that I'm avoiding spoilers. Sometimes I just don't go too far into something because you can watch it, get more out of it. This one doesn't matter because, everyone's called Requiem for a Scarlet Speedster. By the way, the opening teaser's really long, It has the real version of Batman and the Outsider, so it's kind of a fun teaser as well. I'll talk about teasers in a little bit. But this episode, Alan Tudyk, by the way, as the voice of Barry Allen. John Wesley Shipp as the voice of the Reverse Flash, by the way. I just love this one. Oh, I'm sorry. Huh? Oh. Pat S., I did not. Oh, you never saw this one? Well, again, I love it. I mean, if that, I hope it didn't mess you up, dude. I mean, but to me, I just needed to say how important, and I wanted to say how thankful I was for this episode. And it's just tremendous amounts of fun. And it's not spoilery, really, because, I mean, everyone knew, he's on the front, so. So the show taketh away, but it giveth. Number 6. You are number 6. My number 6 episode, folks. Now, there might be some out there that would say this is too low. Okay, Pat, I got you. The show's on HBO Max right now. They're really nice copies too. I don't know if you have that. Just saying. My number 6 is probably someone might think too low, and I would understand that, but it's magnificent. It's called Might Fall. The last episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold. The end. It's over. Crushing. Sad to see it over, but man, what a unbelievable high note the show ended on. What a fabulous, fabulous high note this show ended on. This episode, it's sad at the end, but the episode, the kind of fun thing about it makes you laugh the whole way. It's hilarious. It's hilarious. Is this your number 1? I can't blame anyone for having this as number 1. Henry Winkler as Ambush Bug. I mean, it's hilarious. And what they did with John Magenzi. There's Crypto. The Ace. Oh, now you're going to make me start crying, dude. Like Ace Gaslights. Look at Crypto. I'm crying. Yeah, me too, buddy. I love Crypto. Look at Batwoman, the original. Ted McGinley as Aquaman. That was hilarious. Great inside joke. This episode's brilliant. How about the Bat Luge thingy? Oh, yeah, the Haunted Tank one. We're going to talk a little bit about that and some other of the great teasers and stuff. But without going too far into it, this episode says goodbye to the show in such a brilliant, wonderful, fun fashion. You just got to... I couldn't even really encapsulize it if I wanted to. You just got to trust me on this. It's sad to see it go, but it's magnificent. It is I mean, when you're getting into this top 10, they're just so fantastic. This show is created and put together by such wonderful, talented people who love this work. That's why so many things fall short when it comes to comic book adaptations or other types of, whether it's film or cartoon or whatever, done by idiots who don't care about it. And sometimes it usually shows. But you can tell when somebody loves something, and you can tell a labor of love when you watch it. That's what this show is. It's even said in this episode, I believe it was this one, when Paul Rubens, who does the voice of Batmite, says he called the show, a love letter to Silver Age comics. He calls it that. And what else is it? I mean, that's the show saying it themselves. So it's a beautiful, wonderful episode. I adore it. And now we're in the top 5, my friends. Who's ready for the top 5? If you're still here. All right, my top 5. Oh man, these could jumble in just about any kind of order, but I'm going to go with it. My top 5 is Triumvirate of Terror. This one holds a special place in my heart for so many reasons. The teaser's fantastic, by the way. I haven't been talking teasers much lately, but the Strange Sports old comics where they have these called Strange Sports, where they have the supervillains and the superheroes playing a baseball game. The opening teaser is hilarious, but we finally get, and this was toward the end of the series. This was third season. We finally get the big three together. Just as in Star Trek, it's Kirk, Spock, McCoy. They're the triumvirate. They're the Trinity. Well, the DC Trinity, the triumvirate, is Superman, Batman, and Wonder Woman. And this episode is about their main villains, Luthor, Joker, and Cheetah, constantly getting their butts handed to them by these great heroes. So they come up with this crazy, silly comic booky thing where they switch villains. I mean, the villains switch heroes and go after them, and they give them a run. And from there, I just won't even say much. It's just sheer joy to behold. So, because this is what we're here for. We grew up loving these characters as kids, and we love the triumvirate. If you're a DC Comics fan, I love DC and Marvel, of course, as you know, equally. But if you love DC, it's the triumvirate's there. This is the big team. These are the icons. These are the prototypes, or if you will, or the archetypes, if you will. And they're the best, that great trilogy, that great triumvirate, that great trinity. And this team up is just sheer fun. You get to see them together being friends, going to have milkshakes together at the whatever. Just it's just sheer joy. And again, it's treating these characters with the love and respect they have deserved for so long. Ace Castar, but this picture that I got that's tattoo worthy. That would be a great tattoo. I don't get tattoos, but I know you do, man. That'd be great. This one, if you love these characters, it doesn't get a whole lot more fun than this one, in my opinion. So, Triumvirate of Terra, loads of fun. All right, now, number 4. I saw something at the outset of tonight's show in the chat before I showed up, where my good old buddy Phantom Outsider predicted number 1. And I hope I'm not going to disappoint you too much, my friend. The one you picked, you predicted for number 1, and it's a worthy one because I have it at number 4. And I'm sorry if if I let you down a little bit, my friend, but my number 4 is Chill of the Night. Look, if it's your number 1, I respect that, buddy. Look at, how do you get much better than Kevin Conroy is the voice of Phantom Stranger, Mark Hamill is voice of the Spectre, and that's just the tip of the iceberg. Because after that, you get Adam West as the voice of Thomas Wayne. I was reading something that James Tucker had said about this episode. James Tucker did a list of his. I'm going to talk about his list a little bit later. But this isn't even necessarily in his top 10 at all. And James Tucker's the guy that made it. And I'll talk about this a little bit. He said, I'm actually going to read his list out real quick in a little bit, but because he's the guy that made the show. But he talked about how people can't believe why Chill of the Night's not on his top 13 things he did for the excellent 13 blog that that blog called what's it called again? 13th Dimension blog there by Dan Greenfield. That if you're a comics geek, you probably know about it. And he did a 13 list for that. But he likes it and all. But he said he kind of just did it because people, and I don't know why he even did this, because people say, you guys never do dark episodes. He wanted to prove he could do a dark one. And he even said, I wanted to do it mainly to show that we could do quote unquote dark if we wanted to. And also because Bruce Timm told me that he never wanted to do an episode where Batman caught his parents' killer. So, yeah, I guess you could say I did. I pushed to do Chill of the Night out of pure spite, he said, I guess making a joke about Bruce Timm. Stephen Ernst, welcome. It's good to see you, my friend. But this, of course, is based upon some old comics where we find out when they added a few layers to Batman's origin story, where we find out, this is, I think, from a golden age story, or golden or silver, probably golden, where we find out that this is when we actually find out Batman's killer was Joe Chill. We find out he was hired by a gangster called Lou Moxon. And this episode, it's just creepy. It's brutal. There's no fun in it at all, and I don't care. It's brilliant anyway. It's great. It's not meant to be fun. Nicole the Blind Mage, thank you for popping in. It's good to see you, my friend. This episode is dark as it gets. Up there, it's just amazing, and it's really, he's sent back in time at one point by whether it was Phantom Stranger or Spectre. Maybe it was Spectre that did it to him, or a Phantom Stranger, whatever. I'm forgetting it the second. And he meets his father, as you see there, dressed in that Batman outfit that he wore to a costume party, and they team up and fight a couple of bad guys, including Lou Moxon. And that's why Moxon wanted revenge on Thomas Wayne. But again, man, Phantom Stranger, Spectre, and of course later there's a real great dust up with the Joker and Joe Chill and the villains. Chill and Night's brilliant. It's absolutely a brilliant episode. Yeah, Pat S. You're right. Bat Mike did like this one. So it's great. I love it. Number 4. So Phantom Outside, if you're still with me, buddy, hey, it didn't make my number 1, man, but dude, I love it. And you're right to love it. So my number 3 could be, I don't know, but it could be the most famous episode of this series of all of them. It's quite possible. It's called Mayhem of the Music Meister. Like many of these episodes in the top 10, 5, it's a masterpiece. Because a lot of these episodes are absolute masterpieces, is my opinion, of storytelling, of visual elan, if you will, of characterization, of being faithful and loving of these characters. They're all just terrific. This one's so great, they made a special soundtrack for it, which I play all the time. The songs are brilliant. Neil Patrick Harris does the voice of the Music Master, Meister, created for this series. Who, of course, his singing voice can hypnotize and control people. That's right, Pat S. I did a CD. I have it. Yep, Mayhem of the Music Meister. And the episode is, of course, just there are other episodes with a musical number in it. This episode is a musical and they brilliantly, flawlessly worked that fact into the story. The music is not just people bursting out into songs just because. It's actually part of the story, because when he sings, he's able to control minds, and he's trying to find a way to control all the minds in the world. The Music Meister. This is an absolute work of genius that they found a way not just to make it, let's just burst out in the song, which most musicals are, which is fine if you like musicals. It's actually integral to the story that he sings. That is, and if you watch it and you think about it, because that is absolutely ingenious. It blows me away when I think about it. And the songs are also brilliant. They're hilarious. They're fun. This music, I can listen to it over and over again. It is even touching music. And in this one, Black Canary is fun. And there's also something that really gets you in the heart toward the end. When Black Canary, of course, all through the episode is flirting with and chasing Batman. She's got, she's in love with Batman, of course, or she's got a crush on Batman. And Batman's all business. This Batman is not, Bruce Wayne's a playboy, but Batman in this show is all business. And he doesn't, it's Black Canary, for God's sake. Green Arrow is in this episode. He, of course, gets controlled, as she does. When Batman finally saves the day, and yes, they go into, she sings the song about him and stuff. And, Batman, she basically admits to herself in the song, Batman is his own man. But then Green Arrow starts singing to her, and she realizes, it starts the romance that is a legendary comic book romance, Ollie, Queen, Green Arrow, and Black Canary. And that's the scene you watch that go, yes. At the end, it's the beginning of the relationship and the love affair between Green Arrow and Black Canary. It's so damn cool. They worked that little bit in there. It's fantastic. It's just so much fun. And again, the music, I just listen to it over and over again. And so I love it. And now on to number 2, my friends. Number 2. We're going to get this in there. I mean, let's see here. My number 2 all-time episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold is called Legends of the Dark Might. What can I say? I mean, this is, again, I'm the broken record, folks. You know that. Because I said this about a few episodes tonight. This is one of the most insane things I've ever seen put to animated film. Dark, this is the first, I think this would be the first appearance on the show of Batmite. And, of course, the hero-worshipping, all-powerful imp who pops into our dimension every now and then to fanboy about Batman. And it's just, there are no words of how much I love this episode and how much fun this episode is. And the brilliant conclusion at the end of how Batman, deals with him, because he's got all these powers. It's a visual feast also when they're going through all this crazy Batmite dream world dimension. I mean, this is, if you watch this episode, I mean, what kind of drugs were they on? And you guys weren't drugged. I'm not saying that, but it's so imaginative and so visually stunning. All the crazy animation going on in this crazy imaginary world of Batmite. Batmite's in this strange imaginary dimension where he's doing all this crazy stuff to Batman. And all these extraordinary images. The imagery in this episode is off the charts. It is just out of this world. And there's even one great, hilarious, fun scene where they take a poke at Bat Bros at conventions who are offended by lighthearted takes on Batman, like this show is. Batman's supposed to be serious and all this kind of crap. The people who take Batman too. And I love Dark. We talked about it at the outside of the show. I love Batman the Animated Series. Batman is the Dark Knight Detective. But there are other iterations where you can kind of, you can joke around. I mean, you could make a lighter version like this and be a lot of fun. And it doesn't just take away from the great Dark Knight Detective, Batman the Animated Series at all. And there's a scene at the con where they cut to the audience with a guy that I guess is supposed to be Paul Dini or Bruce Timm, I forgot, is explaining that there's valid interpretations of Batman that can be the lighter-hearted one, and you cut to the fanboys who are all pissed off about Batman Brave and the Bold because it's all serious, and they're all these ridiculous geeks that you see, these idiots in these Batman costumes, cosplays. He takes a poke at fans, but it's also loving the fans. He's saying, look, taking a poke at them, the ones who take Batman so seriously that you can't have a fun, goofy Batman. Or you can't have Batman in fun, goofy stories, which makes no sense because it's happened. It's happened in his history. And they just took a shot at him with this, and it's hilarious. The people because the same way you can laugh at yourself in life, you can even laugh at Batman. It's okay. Batman is a serious and a great character, but you can have a joke about him too. You can have jokes about anything. You can spoof anything. And it was just magnificent. And the episode's magnificent. And it's all the way through. It's a visual feast. So I dearly love it. Oh, shit. Let's see. Wildcat, 2 Black Canaries. Pat S., no, I do love that episode, dude, but it didn't quite make my time. No, I'm going to talk about it, though. I'm going to talk about the honorable mention as soon as I get my number 1 out of the way. So, Phantom Outsider, I hope I didn't disappoint you too much, but I'm about to do my number 1. And I know Ace Cast Iron knows what episode this is. If you're still there, bro. There's no question that my buddy Ace Cast Iron knows what episode is going to be number one. For sentimental reasons, and we've watched this one together before, I believe. In the early days, well, I guess I'll just go ahead and announce it and then talk about this. My number one all-time favorite episode of Batman the Brave and the Bold is called Battle of the Superheroes. Simple title. Simple episode in a sense. But there's some complexity to it in a sense. Because I love Superman and I love Batman. And for the first couple of years of this series, they had like in Sidekicks Assemble the opener that you could see Superman from the back on the Justice League satellite. But there were things going on with legal issues and things like that for whatever reason they couldn't. And we thought they were never going to be able to use Superman on the show. This, of course, this episode is from the third and final season. There was a short season. When, and much to my surprise, they were able to bring in Superman. And this episode is a tour de force of one of the most wonderful friendships in all of comics, in my opinion. That's between Batman and Superman. They are friends. Yes, there are differences between the two. People like Hack Snyder don't understand these characters or their relationship. Now, again, Frank Miller didn't like their relationship, and Frank Miller did things about it that I didn't like. But even building up to the end of their comic run called World's Finest, which wound down, and it started in 1930 or 40, whatever it was, and then wound down in the early 80s. In World's Finest, the two started having some differences here and there. DC started to create some divisions between the characters, and but they were always friends. And when I was a kid, these two were best friends. The ultimate superpowered superhero, the ultimate non-superpowered superhero. Two different archetypes. Take it easy, Steve Mitchell. Good to see you, bro. I'm glad you were here, brother. So this meant the world to me that we got to see Superman. And I thank James Tucker and all those guys for doing this episode, doing all these wonderful episodes. And it was right out of the Silver Age. I mean, so much so that there are whole scenes in this episode that pay homage in fun ways. You can go find a site online called superdickery.com where they show all these old covers from the Silver Age where Superman it's called Superman is a dick, basically, because he's being a dick. Because, shock value was a big thing in the old Mort Weisinger era of comics, of DC and Superman. And they would always put these characters where Superman was doing something shocking. Superman, the ultimate Boy Scout, the ultimate nice guy, is doing something mean and shocking on the cover because they thought that, again, that was just the hook for the shock hook was what, they like to do on a lot of comics, not just DC, but especially DC of that era, especially Superman and World's Finest and things like that. Oh, really a lot of DC of that era. And they have a lot of visual homages because, of course, Superman is Luthor affects Superman with red kryptonite, and it turns Superman evil, turns him into a real jackass. So it's called Battle of the Superheroes for that reason. And Batman is on the case, and unlike the crap where Batman's always hateful of Superman, it's his friend and he respects him. And he doesn't know. We don't know why Superman's doing all this kind of stuff. This one, there's a hilarious scene. Well, a lot of hilarious scenes that are just make me laugh out loud every time I see them. But one in particular, when he goes into the Fortress of Solitude and grabs the bottle city of Kandor, does Superman, and shakes it, goes earthquake. Oh yeah, you had to be there and you had to know things about Superman lore, but there are all kinds of visual homages to a lot of those old Superman covers. strewn throughout the episode. And a lot of callbacks, a lot of nods. And there's even a nod to Frank Miller's Dark Knight Returns. Where Batman has to put on an exoskeleton suit and has to go out and face Superman. A silver-aged power level Superman, by the way. Because, of course, the effects of red kryptonite only last 24 hours. He's got to last them out. And that's such a great fight. And Krypto comes to help Batman. That's just, oh, my God. Krypto saves Lois and Jimmy, I think. Krypto being in the episode is another special treat. Both Ace Caster and I, we both love Krypto. We're big fans of Superboy and Krypto in general. Pat S. says, I'm okay with Superman not being in a ton of episodes. No, I am too. That's how we got Batman and the Question and Equinox, whoever the hell. Yeah, Equinox, yeah, those were great. I love those as well. There's so many great episodes. What I really wish is if they were when they canceled this at 65, I wish it had been more episodes. But how about if the same guys, just imagine if right after that they picked up with a cartoon called DC Comics Presents, and it was the same crew doing the same thing with Superman, because he had a title called DC Comics Presents, as you all well know, where he teamed up with a different hero every week. I'd have been all over that. That'd have been the greatest thing ever if it had been this guy, this crew doing that. But I know that's too much to ask for. But Battle of the Superheroes just makes me giddy on every level. Every time I watch it, and I've watched it quite a few times, it's just a fun, loving walk down memory lane for people who grew up loving these superheroes, knowing that these superheroes are supposed to appeal not only to our better nature and to be inspiring and heroic, but they can stumble when someone turns them into doing bad things. It's because they're not in their proper mindset, and they come back at the end and they're redeemed, and they remind us of our childhood, that these characters, usually if you're someone who really loves comics because you started loving these characters or these comics wherever you discovered them, whether they were TV or comic books, at a young age where they left a great impression on you. These characters mean nothing to a guy like Hack Snyder, who admitted he never read any of those comics when he was a kid. He read heavy metal. He's an edgelord type. These characters aren't in his soul or in his heart, because he doesn't have much of one when it comes to that. To these characters, he doesn't have a fondness or a love for them, so he laughs at people who love them, who understand they need to stay a certain way, not saying they shouldn't be stretched too far out. He didn't grow up loving these characters. They're not a part of his heart or soul or his psyche. They don't mean a thing to him other than wanton violence and destruction and disaster porn and edgelord garbage and nihilistic tripe. Well, these characters mean so much more. And he would laugh and scoff at an episode like Battle of the Heroes. And this whole series he would laugh and scoff at because he doesn't care. And he can go screw himself. So many people don't understand that the core of these characters, and it's embodied in all 65 episodes of this show. It exists in the show, and people like Snyder don't understand it, don't care, and many of his sycophants and his little cultists don't care. They don't love these characters. Well, I do. And this whole show, culminating in this episode, epitomized my love for these superheroes. They mean a great deal to me, and it's cornball and all that stuff, but they do. I love them. And this show really gets to me that way. And this is my favorite episode, but I love them all. I mean, the whole top 25 is my favorite, really. So it's just a wonderful, it's a beautiful and an amazing show. Those are my top 25, though. And I'm going to touch on a handful of honorable mentions after I mention a few of the teasers, because as I mentioned, for those who don't know, again, Batman Brave and the Bold often opened up with a little pre-episode, what they call teaser, a pre-credits teaser before the main body of the episode. And some of them were just extraordinary. I probably will forget some of them, but I'll just suffice it to say, I guess I just won't do it as a list like I thought I would. I'll just say they're great ones that they've had. It's so crazy. They've had Space Ghost. Okay. Yeah, you heard it right. They've had Space Ghost. They've had Haunted Tank. Who even knows who that is? Well, you got to be pretty obscure for there. Oh, it is amazing. Mark D with the C, you make a good point. How many characters were on that show? Amazing Man. Who even remembers him? There was an episode called 4-Star Spectacular that had Amazing Man. They've had Adam Strange, Ambush. But I'm going to go alphabetical here because I pulled up a list. I'm going to name all the characters because they deserve to be mentioned. Just to show how much these people are in touch with and how much they love these characters. I'm going to, before I go on to a little bit of the teaser, just to give you an idea how many characters have popped up on this show, all from Silver and Bronze Age, Gold and Silver, Bronze Age. Amazing Man, who is a character from a very obscure limited series. If I stopped on everyone and told you about him, it would be all night. So I'm just going to name him. Amazing Man. Let's see. Adam Strange, Ambush Bug, Anthro, the Aquaman's family. Adam, the Batman family. Batman, I'm doing it in alphabetical order. Batman of Zur-En-Arrh, as we mentioned, of course. Batmite. Batman of All Nations. They had a teaser. Batman of All Nations. You just have to look it up. Trust me. It's weird. Batman Throughout Time. There was an episode where they met Batman from various points, different Batman from various points of history. Don't ask. Black Canary. Black Orchid. Very obscure. Blue Beetle. 2 of them, really. Booster Gold. Bronze Tiger. That was a pretty good episode also. Wanna Beast. Captain Atom, Captain Marvel, the real deal, Shazam, Challengers of the Unknown, which is one of my favorite of the teasers. Created by Jack Kirby and Joe Simon, the Challengers of the Unknown, some would say precursor to the Fantastic Four. Cinnamon, a very obscure Western character. Creature Commandos, I don't know if any of you remember the Creature Commandos, that's right. Again, long story, it would take too long. The Creeper, Steve Ditko's Creeper. Dead Man had a great episode, which barely missed my list, of course. But anyway, I'll mention that. I'll talk about a little bit about that in a second. Dead Man. I love Dead Man. Detective Chimp, that's right. Detective Chimp. Of course, the great Dr. Fate, as mentioned, the Doom Patrol. Elongated Man has been here. Enemy Ace. I can't believe Enemy. Oh, my God. I don't know how they got away with that one. I love Enemy Ace. Enemy Ace, for God's sake. Etrigan is a great demon episode that barely missed my list. I love it. Etrigan, the demon. Fire, obscure character from JLA, of course. And she was in a teaser, I believe. Firestorm. Flash, of course. A couple different Flashes. Freedom Fighters, as mentioned. Green Arrow, as mentioned. Green Lantern Corps, as mentioned. The Guardians of the Universe, as mentioned. Hawk and Dove were in one of the teasers. Hawk and Dove, man, it's just amazing. Steve Ditko's characters. Haunted Tank, as mentioned earlier by Ace Cast Iron. Jeff Stewart, that's right. That one blew me away when they had Haunted Tank. Incredible. Huntress, of course. Ice, Fire's little friend there, who was in one of the JLA episodes, I believe. JLI, sorry. The great Jonah Hex was in an episode, of course, the Justice League International. There's a great Justice Society episode. The wonderful Commandy, Jack Kirby's Commandy, Last Boy on Earth. Not only in a couple of teasers, but a full episode called The Last Bat on Earth. Barely missed my list. Just watch that one today again. Love it. Martian Manhunter. Metal Men. Love it. Mr. Miracle has been in a teaser. OMAC. There's an OMAC episode. Jack Kirby's OMAC, folks. The Outsiders. And even later, there's an episode where the Outsiders look like they did in the comic, because the first few they were in, they did not. They had the Parallel Earth Heroes that we talked about earlier, of course. Phantom Stranger, Plastic Man, the questions in episodes, folks. Red Tornado, Hail the Tornado Tyrant, and the Secret Santa's episode, the Christmas episode, Invasion of the Secret Santa's, great ones. They really did well with Red Tornado. Again, as I mentioned, Space Ghost, Space Ranger, Spectre, of course, as we mentioned, Stargirl is in an episode. Naturally, Superman. Ultra, the multi-alien. I mean, it gets so obscure. Vigilante, which I'm going to talk about in a little bit. The Western version, the original. Not Adrian Chase. Vixen. Wildcat. Arlie Ermy is Wildcat, folks, by the way. Of course, Wonder Woman and Zatanna. Those are just heroes. The villains. There's an episode, and it was Day of the Dark Knight, great episode, where they had all the villains from the Batman TV show looking just like, well, they were in prison 50s, but you could tell from their headwear or whatever. Oh, by the way, the Detective Chimp episode had False Face. He was, Malachi Throne played him on the Batman TV show. They had Abracadabra, Flash villain. Yeah. They had Preston Payne, Amazo, Angle Man, Animal, Vegetable, Mineral Man, and that great Doom Patrol episode, by the way. They had a villains an episode with a couple, I think, with this bar with all the villains. Arsenal, Atomic Man, Babyface, say, Bane, Black Adam, Black Manta, Black Mask, Blockbuster. That was a fun one. Bouncer, Brian, Brand. Let's see here. We'll go through them quick here. Sorry. Bug-Eyed Bandit, Bugman, Calculator was he didn't look much like the comic, but Calculator was the Calculator. Oh my God, I think it was Night of the Huntress or whatever. That was great. Calendar Man, Cannoneer, Captain Boomerang, Catman, Catwoman, of course. They had some nice Catwoman stuff. Cavalier was in a couple, I know that, of course. Cheetah, Chancellor Daragus, whatever. I always have trouble pronouncing that one. Kimmo was in an episode, for God's sake. Kimmo, oh my God. Clock King, of course. Clue Master, Copperhead, Crazy Quilt, of course. Deadshot, Despero, Dr. Double X, Dr. No Face, Dr. Poison, Dr. Polaris, Dr. Savannah, Dr. Time with a Y. Dwarfster. You know what? There's so many of them. I better stop. You get the point, I guess. Because it would take forever to read all these. They had so many villains. They had way more villains than heroes, and they threw the most obscure villains in there. Which I love, by the way. I think they've even had like Sherlock Holmes pop up on there, if I remember right. Yeah, they did. They had Sherlock Holmes in one of them. Remember? Oh yeah, he was in oh God, what was that episode he was in there? Good God, what's it? Oh, which one was the Trials? One of the Sherlock Holmes was one of the episodes. I'm forgetting which episode he was in now. Oh well, that's all right. My memory's garbage, as you all know. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I do believe Sergeant Rock was in an episode, but I could be wrong. The one thing that makes me sad is we never had the Legion of Superheroes. And I don't think there was an Angel and the Ape either. I don't think, or Dolphin, or Rhyme of the Jungle Girl for that matter, D. Bud Martin. But they can't be everywhere, can they? But I would love to have seen the Legion. Yeah, that's right. The G.I. Robot one. It was Sergeant Rock, if I remember. That was in a teaser. They've had Creature Commandos. They had G.I. Robot them up. Thank you. I don't know if they ever had I Vampire, though. I don't think so. But Sergeant Rock, again, I just freaked out when I saw G.I. Robot. It would be nice to see a whole episode with Sergeant Rock. They can't do everything. They didn't have all the time. Some of the teasers, like I said, they had a Challengers of the Unknown. There was a really great, that was a great one. Of course, that was the first one with Starro, setting up Starro. I love the episode. They had a teaser, everyone. One of the best ones was with Two-Face. He wasn't teaming up with anyone. He went after these Two-Face, and Two-Face had these henchmen with him. And, he tells Two-Face, you took a chance coming here, whatever. He says, I know you. He says, I know that he basically flips the coin whether to find out whether to kill Batman or not. And he flips the coin and says, it's your lucky day, Batman. And so Batman lives. And then, of course, the bad guy's like, well, wait a minute, boss. All due respect, we got a bat in the hand and everything. And they want, and you said we're gonna kill him anyway, whatever. So Batman knows that won't fly well with Two-Face. This is your nephew, Josh. Oh, Josh, what's up, bro? Hey, man. I'm doing Batman Brave and the Bold tonight. I'll do Batman animated series. Don't worry, brother. So anyway, Two-Face, because he obeys the coin, he and Batman team up and fight those. They fight the. They take down the guys with the guns, and then Two-Face says that one was just to see if they kill you. Now I got to flip again, and so he flips the coin in the air, and Batman waits a second, then Batman punches him and cheats. He said, basically, he says, "I'm not taking it." You know, he's a screw it. He just, you know. The Enemy Ace teaser is amazing. So, just so crazy that they would do that. Have something like, you know, Enemy Ace is just incredible. Like I said, the Detective Chimp teaser was hilarious. And speaking of dark, and it was right, I think it was the episode after Chill of the Night called Gorillas in Our Midst, but the teaser. Talk about dark. We're talking about dark stuff on this show. It's about the Spectre, who had just appeared in the previous episode, of course, of Chill of the Night. And Batman was, you know, he wants to convert Batman. You know, he wants Batman to go dark. Fighting this relatively obscure villain called Dr. Milo, Professor Milo or something like that. And Batman, of course, kicked his ass and he leaves him there. And Dr. Milo is pretty evil. Spectre's trying to goad Batman into killing him, but Batman does not kill. The Batman does not kill. So he leaves him there cuffed for the cops. And then the Spectre decides, you know, and now that Batman's gone, he decides to deal with the evildoer, and this is a direct homage to the Michael Fleischer, Jim Aparo Adventure Comics, Spectre comics of the 70s, when he turns Professor Milo he turns him into cheese, and it has a bunch of rats loose and to eat him. Again, reminiscent of that creepy old 70s Michael Fleischer Spectre comic. It was fantastic. Oh, JB. I appreciate it, man. Great to see you, buddy. Love you, man. You the man, bro. It's always good to see you, buddy. It's one of my, not just my nephew, but a great buddy and a great friend. I love you, brother. We watched many a Batman the Animated Series episode in his youth. Yes, indeed. So that was a great teaser. They had a Killer Moth teaser, which was kind of a fun nostalgia one because it was Batgirl, you know. Again, that crazy teaser for Joker Vile and Villainous where the Joker destroys Commandy in the future. That was just nuts. What are some of the other ones? Well, you know, teasers, it's tough to remember them all. But trust me, they're fantastic. But I'm going to do my little, before we get out of here. A Liger fan, I want to thank you so much for being here, man. For my friend, I'm not too far behind you. I'm going to do a little bit more before we get out. But I appreciate you being here, sir. Thank you so much. My honorable mention list, because the show was so great, and it was tough. It was just brutal for me to narrow these down to 25. Some of these, and this list I have here, they're all worthy as well. Some of them are just as great or close to those episodes I was talking about. One of the great teaser, by the way, was the one with Vigilante. If you can find this online, you should all watch the Vigilante. It's called singing the song called "The Gray and Blue." It's the opening of an episode, the Western version of the Vigilante, who had a guitar singing "The Man from Gotham Wore the Gray and Blue." It's fantastic. If you can find that one, it's almost it's close to being on a par with some of the ones in the Music Meister and the Aquaman's rousing Song of Heroism. It's great stuff. But okay, these are episodes I'm going to go through fairly quickly. that are great ones that are honorable mentions. Mystery in Space. Great one with a character I love. I barely missed my list. I love it. It's not only it's a great one for Aquaman, but Adam Strange, whom I love, voiced by the guy who played the Pretender. A great show no one ever remembers but me, Michael T. Weiss. Love it. Journey to the Center of the Bat. More great Aquaman. And this one with, of course, the Ryan Choey. Ryan, I say his name, Adam, but still, let's see here. Again, these are in no particular order, folks. I had to write one more because I forgot about. All right, but go quick here. Sorry, noise. Everyone, sorry. Invasion of the Secret Santa is a very touching and fun episode. Red Tornado, the guest star in that one. Dawn of the Dead Man. Fun. Hey, Jax Mama. Hello there. Good to see you. Always a pleasure, my dear. Good to see. Thank you for popping in there. Again, Monday night Mark C Comic Talk. So it's great to see you there. Let's see here. Dawn of the Dead Man, a great one, and there's a great little in joke there where a lady, like a lady charlatan type of a fortune teller is telling some guy. The episode takes place in London, and she says to this to her man, her little Mark sitting there, saying, Thomas Baker, your nephew Colin Baker wants to speak to you from the beyond. And any of you Doctor Who fans will get that reference. Let's see here. Let's see. Day of the Dark Knight, great one with Batman and Green Arrow teaming up with Merlin and meeting, of course, the Demon, Etrigan the Demon. Now, again, remember, that's the one that has the scene in the prison. Batman Brave and the Bold had 3 seasons, really kind of 2.5 because the 3rd season was a little short, Josh. It was cut short. There were only 65 episodes. So, Day of the Dark Knight is fantastic. They go back. Merlin comes to the future while Green Arrow, and Batman are finding a breakout at Blackgate Prison, and they show this amazing scene with the prisoners are all in prisoner physique, but they're of course all wearing their normal supervillain headgear because it's a silly, fun show, and they're all of them, villains from the Batman TV show, made to look just like them. They got Archer, Bookworm, Puzzler. They got them all, everyone from that show. It would take too long to name them all. And it's just hilarious. They're kicking all their asses, and of course they're brought back to the past to fight Morgan Le Fay. And it's a great episode. A lot of fun. Trials of the Demon. One I mentioned earlier. I think I mentioned it. Oh, yeah, I had it on there twice, but no, I don't know. Okay, no, Trials of the Demon is different. Trials of the Demon, great one. That's the one that has Sherlock Holmes in it, by the way. Great episode. Love it. Let's see here. The Last Bat on Earth. Yes, folks, unbelievable. Rod Thunderheart, welcome, sir. Welcome. The Last Bat on Earth. Jack Kirby's Commandy. In this episode, he'd already been in a teaser. He was in a teaser later, but this full episode where Batman has to go to the future and fight alongside Commandy and his friends because Gorilla Grodd has gone there. I just watched that one again today. So wonderful. Again, it kills me to leave that one off the list. That's why it's being mentioned like so many other great episodes in this one. Long Arm of the Law. Great episode, especially if you're a Plastic Man fan, which I am. It deals a lot with Plastic Man. It delves into his origin a little bit more, which they've already kind of touched on. And just crazy fun because they do so many amazing, fun visual things with Plastic Man. And I really love that one. They even named his girlfriend, wife, whatever they call it, Ramona, after artist Ramona Fradon, who actually drew the comic. And Aquaman artist, too. little silly fun fact that no one cares about, but what can you do? Let's see here. I tell you what, this is one that makes most people's top 10 list, and I love it, so it has to be mentioned at least. I'm sorry it's not at number one, and I'm sorry it's not in the top 25. It could easily be The Knights of Tomorrow. This is an episode where it shows the future and the whole legacy of the Batman family. Which episode did they face the dragon? The dragon. I'm not sure which one. Oh, that might have been the demon one, but I'm not exactly sure, JB. I have to check with that. I have to check with that one. Well, I'm glad to see you, Rod Thunderheart. Steve Ernest, so would I. That would be cool to see. And now you can do it with today's technology, a live action Batman, Plastic Man episode. TV show. But yes, and you see you see the future of the Batman family. The Knights of Tomorrow is terrific. And again, it's worthy of being a top 25er. It's great. All these ones I'm naming are worthy. It's just, I had to make the list somehow, but I wanted to get mentions in of them and talk about them a little bit, of course. This one, he makes a lot of lists. Didn't make mine. I'm going to read Tucker's list in a second. Just 13. Bat-Mite presents Batman's Strangest Cases. This is also a hilariously bizarre episode where they have 4 little vignettes where they show different versions of Batman, including everyone. Batman, a Japanese manga version, anime version that looks like the Batman manga episode of Batman. It is freaky. It's hilarious. And of course, also an episode with Scooby-Doo and another one based on the old, DC used to do an old spoof comic, an old Jerry Lewis, looking comic with it was hard to explain. One of their old spoof comics that DC used to do, the old Cracked and stuff like that. It's different. It's very difficult to explain if you don't know what I'm talking about. But they're like 4 crazy different Batman, really weird looks at Batman that are just off the wall. Again, more proof to how much amazing fun this show is. Just incredible. I mean, it's just brilliant. Brilliant. And I didn't do that one justice, but again, you have to see that one. Scorn of Star Sapphire. As a Hal Jordan fan and a Green Lantern fan, this one's a must-see. I absolutely love it. Oh, there you go. That's a good link there that the great Mark D with a C. Appreciate that, Mark D with a C, put up there. Let's see. But Scorn of Star Sapphire, great Hal Jordan and Carol Ferris episode, and of course with Batman in it. Love it. Let's see. Bit of a kerfluffle here for a second. There was a fun one called Bold Beginnings, where I think Green Arrow, Plastic Man, and Aquaman are kind of reminiscing about when they first worked with Batman. Cavaliers in that one. It's kind of a fun one. I like that one. And that's the one that has the teaser with Space Ghost and Jan and Jace and Blip. Space Ghost and Batman, folks. Yes, I say again. Space Ghost and Batman, folks. Yeah. So, let's see here. There's also one called 4-Star Spectacular, which, again, is toward the end of the run. And it's crazy. It's really good. It's fun. Because it has, let's see, it has like 4 different stories. It has an Adam Strange story. It has a Flash story. Yes, Greg Barry Allen. It has a Creature Commandos story, the One at a Time Forgot thing, I believe, if I remember right. Let's see who appears in this episode. And of course, it has a character that very few people will ever know and be familiar with, called Amazing Man. Amazing Man is a character. I think of the guy with Steve DiStefano. I can't remember the guy's name who created him. There was a series in the early mid '80s called Amazing Man. It was just a fun, weird, off the wall little crazy comic. I bought every episode. Listen to me. I bought every issue. It was like a 12 issue. It was just a goofy little fun nothing of a comic about a crazy little dude that thought he was a superhero, a little tiny dude. And when I first saw that they put him in an episode of Batman Brave and the Bold, I already knew the show was special, but I just couldn't believe that they did that. That is true. I forgot to mention Julie Newmar did the voice of Martha Wayne on Chill of the Night. Thank you. Thank you, my good friend Pat S. But it's just a testament to how much fun this show really is. I mean, it really is. To how much fun this show can be. And to have things like, pop up with Space Ghost. And all these other characters. In fact, I'll do a screen share here. Batman's Strangest Cases. I want to give you an example of how weird this episode is in an absolutely beautiful way. Because why not? Let's see here. All right. All right, here you go. Oh, here we go. Anyone ever see manga Batman? All right. This is how bizarre and in such a wonderful way that this show is. This episode's insane, by the way. In the best possible way. Yes, Steve Ernest, it is. Batman Brave and the Bold is on HBO Max. I believe all 65 episodes are on there. I don't know if the Matches Malone episode is on there or not. I would have to check for you. I will. And they did a Batman Scooby-Doo movie thing, Batman Brave and the Bold Scooby-Doo movie, which is pretty good. I don't know if that's on there. But Scooby-Doo was also in another episode. So, yes, this is the manga episode, or the anime manga episode, whatever you want to call it, of Batman Brave and the Bold. It's hilarious. The Scooby-Doo segment of that one called Batman's Strangest Cases, with Weird Al Yankovic, by the way. Batmite presents Batman's Strangest Cases. Here's the little spoof segment. I think you get my drift now, don't you? How crazy this show is. And it's such a, oh man, it's nuts, man. It was just, this show could, there was no limits on what they could do. No limits. I mean, they were not constrained by their own imagination, really. And it was extraordinary. So really got to hand it to them. Another episode that I love, Duel of the Double Crossers. Jonah Hex as the world, not only the old West's most fierce bounty hunter, but the old fierce bounty hunter in the galaxy, because Mongol has kidnapped him out of time and is making him, go after all these different aliens to fight in his little arena thingy. And so he makes him kidnap Batman. And I love Jonah Hex, so. Just phenomenal. But I can't even tell you what I felt, and how insane it was the first time I saw this, though. Batman and Space Ghost, dude. I just can't ever say it enough. Okay, they got the Matches Milan one on there. Okay, there you go. Yeah, good. I'm glad they put that on there. It has a very raunchy song, too raunchy for Cartoon Network, I guess, but what are you going to do? Thank you, Mark D with the C, always coming forth with the info, brother. Appreciate that. Because I forgot to check see if that was on there, so thank you. Oh, let's see here. I'm going to show you something from Bold Beginnings. Give you an idea of some. I'm going to show you some of the obscure. You got to see Amazing Man to believe it. If they even have him on here. No, I'm sorry. That Bold Beginnings is a different one. My bad. That is a good one then. I meant 4-Star Spectacular. Sorry. Let's see here. There we go. I don't know if they were just getting to the end, realized they just could get away with anything, or what was going on. That's Amazing Man right there, folks. Oh, sorry. He's blocked. Hang on a second. There's Amazing Man. Oh, and look, here's an issue of his comic book, in case you're wondering. This comic character right here that DC put out in the mid 80s. A goofy, fun, silly nothing of a comic, and they put him on the show. It's just unbelievable. In the very best sense of the term. Because it's just, every single time I thought I could not be surprised by this show, they'd shock the hell out of me. That's good stuff there. When a show can do that, that's pretty good. Want to see the Creature Commandos? I'm find a good shot of the Creature Commandos. Find one. They had Sergeant Rock of the Creature Commandos here, but couldn't find a good picture, I guess. Well, I was trying to find you a good, and it was named, that was, by the way, there used to be DC Comics called 4-Star Spectacular, so it was kind of an homage to those old 4-Star Spectaculars, if you remember that sort of thing, like so many of us do. What a wonderful homage to DC using that title for that episode. This is fantastic. It just, maybe some of you can see why I just love this show so much. Probably more than I should. I don't know. I just do. It's great. It's just great. So anyway, yeah, goofing around here. Let's see. What's another one we can take a look at real quick? I'm gonna let you guys out of here. I promise. I think one last one I would mention is Sword of the Atom, because we finally got to see Ray Palmer Atom. They were on the Ryan Choi thing. I get it. But Ray Palmer is my Atom. Just the way it is. Just the way I want it. Title taken from, and a lot of the story taken from the classic, one of the classic miniseries of the 80s called Sword of the Atom. And by the great Gil Kane, by the way. Yeah. So the show just it's amazing. And I'm gonna do a lot of cartoon shows coming up, everyone. I got a lot of cartoon stuff coming up. Pretty soon. I'm gonna not too far. I'm gonna not too distant future, and not next Sunday AD, but soon. I'm gonna talk about Thundar the Barbarian, a great show. I'm gonna talk about some great Saturday morning shows I love, like the Flash Gordon series and different stuff. So I wanted to do this one because I love it. I'm gonna talk about the '90s second season of the Fantastic Four. The Thing Ring show shall not be named here, good sir. I'm just kidding. But I wanted to have a little bit of fun talking about this tonight. Oh, let's see here. Question from Pat S. My last question of the night. Did you like The Batman? Not a fan of that show. I couldn't get into that show, The Batman. The art on the character of Batman himself, I didn't mind that much, but the villains all looked like garbage to me. They looked horrible. I couldn't get into that show. Well, some people like it, it's, which is okay. It's fine. I couldn't get into it, especially after something as great as Batman the Animated Series. I would just rather have seen them go that route. Just, Clobberin 3000. Okay. Clobberin 3000 is anything like Camelot 3000? So I wasn't big on that personally on that The Batman series, the show called The Batman Animated. I just didn't really like the style of the animation, and I really hated Beware of the Batman, which they sort of alluded to a little bit in Mightfall. Which, by the way, I guess we should show some before we get out of here. We should show some pictures from more pictures from Mightfall, which was the very last episode. If we can find some, then we'll scoot. Let's see here. Yeah, we'll get out of here in a sec here, so folks. But there you go. Mightfall, the very last episode. Man, look at this. Makes me want to cry. It's so sad to see this show end. But man, it also is hilarious. I mean, look, ambush bug. What they did with Aqualese, all that stuff. Oh, I guess it's fitting to show that since we're about to get out of here. But yeah. So in conclusion, my good friends, I want to thank everyone who was here tonight. I'm going to do some thank yous here and say goodbyes and get moving here. Thank you so much for being here tonight. I've had just a terrific time. And fitting with that, there's the ending scene right there, the goodbye scene of Mightfall, the last episode. 65 episodes of sheer joy was this show to me. And if I miss any episodes, some people like it and holler at me later, whatever. And I agree with my look, I love Batman Animated Series. I'd love it. Now we're talking about that soon. We're going to be doing a show about that. This is the one that just kind of brings me back to my childhood, and it's just so much fun, so great. So if anybody ever gets to go back and revisit this and watch this again, please let me know. Hey, JT Kirk, I appreciate you, man. And yeah, look, no, oh, we'll see. What's that? I'm sorry, I missed some of these. Oh yeah, Thundar was great, Cam, and thank you for being here, sir. I want to thank everyone. The great Lord Thoth was here earlier. Don't know if he still is, but shout out to the great Lord Thoth. Avon lives, long live the Legion. The great Eric K and the great Chris Persia, both the masters of Frenches. Great. I really appreciate you both for being here with me tonight. always a pleasure to see you guys because I know you're busy out there wrenching and stuff. The great Mark D with a C, fantastic friend of the show. Always a pleasure. And my good buddy Pat S. Hey, buddy. Really appreciate you. Again, JB. Love you, man. Thanks for popping in, buddy. Appreciate you, man. JT Kirk, it has been my pleasure. I appreciate you being here. Rod Thunderheart. Well, you and me both, Rod Thunderheart. That was amazing. They had Woozy Winks on there, yes. Steve Ernest, I want to thank you for popping in tonight. Thank you. It's great to have you here. It's great to have you all here. Cam, again, thank you so much. Let's see here. I hope I can remember everyone. You know, I don't have it all written down like I usually on Saturday Night Star Trek. So Apollomies Minion, thank you for being here. The great Steve Mitchum was here earlier. I think Paulie with Latino Slant popped in earlier. Hail to Paulie, and please go subscribe to his great channel. Subscribe to all the great channels I have links to. Liger Fan, Jack's Mama was here. Thank you, Liger Fan. I appreciate you. Phantom Outsider. Nicole the Blind Mage was here. I'm trying to remember, of course, the great Ace Cast Iron was here, brother. I appreciate you, man. I'm not the ability to backtrack all of them. D. Bud Martin, thank you for being here, sir. Says D. Bud Martin says, thanks for sharing your love for the show. I'll have to look them up. I really love it. You know, again, it's a lot of fun. You know your comics. I know that, D. Bud, so you might have a good time watching it as well. It's a lot of fun. As said in the last episode, and it's never been said better by the producers of the show, they call it a love letter to Silver Age comics. It really is that. And so, and I love those comics, so it's great. And let's see. Rod Thunderheart, buddy, appreciate you. Snorta Poopas was here earlier. Snorta Poopas, appreciate you. See if I can remember anybody else who might have been here. I always hate to leave people out. But I have an old man's memory. I forget all kinds of things. You all know that because you've been here before. So I do my best, but I forget things a lot. So anyone who did pop in, if I forgot you, I'm not forgetting you on purpose. It's just I have a garbage memory. Monday night, excuse me. Oh, Pat S says, thank you, buddy. Great show, bro. Mark C was watching with us tonight. Yes, he was. He can see any bad episode anytime where he is. Hail. Well, thank you so much for that. That's beautiful, and I appreciate it. We love the great Mark C here. This is Monday Night Mark C, and we love you, buddy. Wherever you are, man, we know this was a topic that, look, if he were still down here with us, he would be doing the show. I would not do this one out without him. I know he'd want to do it, and I would have him here talking. We would both give you our favorites and stuff, and I know that. So I don't know what his favorites are, obviously, or were, but are. But I know he would have enjoyed doing this because I know he was a fan of the show as well. And a lot of, because we've talked cartoons before, you know. So again, thank you, everyone. We'll see it's Wednesday night, open geek talk, just me finding something to shoot the shot about. Thursday, unless something changes, it's going to be 1 p.m. Central Standard Time for the Global Geek Gang hanging out. And Saturday night, the beautiful, magnificent, wonderful First Officer Raquel Briggs and myself, 9 p.m. Pacific Standard, listen to me, Central Standard Time, 9 p.m. Central. Man, I confuse things, I know. 4 more episodes to review of Star Trek, all of Real Trek we're reviewing. So, and we have a great time there. So, everyone, appreciate you. Thank you so much. Hail Mark C. Indeed. Thank you, Cam. So, I want to thank you. And, of course, big thanks. Purple Valkyrie was here earlier. She's probably gone to bed. It's so late over there, but I love you, Purple. She's fantastic. She popped in earlier. Anyone else who did, love you, and I'm sorry if I missed you. But thank you again so much, everyone. And now, again, always big shout out. Now, tomorrow night, by the way, I'll also be on, I'm not sure whose channel it is on. I can't remember. But Loki's comic book roundtable. I will be on that if they're having it. And I think they are. So big shout out to Loki for this great intro that he made for me. And I really appreciate him. And good night, everyone. And have a great rest of the week. I hope I can see you out there on the streams. Take care.